Sitting outside of the bottom three in the championship at the moment. 1 point from 3 games. They made it through to this stage of this competition by drawing 3-3 away to Bolton in the first round and winning a penalty shootout. The game here at Hillsborough is underway on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and it's the Leeds United fans who may well outnumber the home fans this evening. You can hear making early noise. 9 changes made by Daniel Farke to his Leeds team tonight. They're playing from left to right in the first half, and they're starting to build play down the right hand side. Sheffield Wednesday putting some early pressure on, and the ball forward by Bornau from the right back position thuds into the back of one of the Sheffield Wednesday players, and Leeds United get themselves a throw. 40 seconds in, and really the only Sheffield Wednesday fans we can see inside this grand old stadium are the tops of the heads of the fans in the front rows of this giant south stand beneath our commentary position. Carl Darlow, Leeds goalkeeper tonight, all in bright orange, gets the ball back inside his 6-yard box, strokes a right-footed pass to the Belgian centre-back Bornau, Leeds debutant tonight, as is his centre-back partner Jakob Bijol. We've got Sean Longstaff, the summer signing from Newcastle United, getting on the ball right now in the black shirt of Leeds tonight. He's making a first start, as is Noah Okafor, the Swiss international, who's darting about inside the Sheffield Wednesday half at the moment. Former Leeds goalkeeper, England international Paul Robinson sitting alongside me here at Hillsborough as Leeds build just inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, and Jack Harrison in this role tonight, Paul. It looks like a sort of left-back role. I think there's a way back for Jack Harrison. I think there's obviously a lot of animosity the way that he left the club, but when you look at Brendan Harrison and Max Wober last season, the season before, they left acrimoniously. They went out on loan. Supporters disappointed with the way that they left. Daniel Farke wasn't afraid to bring them back into the fold last season. Brendan Harrison playing over 40 games in the Championship last year, I think roundly booed every touch that he had from the Leeds supporters, but his performances and what Leeds did last year got him, he won him back over. And I think for Jack Harrison, the longer this window goes, I mean, after 2 years on loan at Everton, you would have thought that it was over for him, but seemingly not. So your Leeds team tonight: Carl Darlow in goal, Sam Byram's the right back, Harrison at left back, Bijol and Bornau the 2 centre-backs on debut. The Bulgarian Ilya Gruev continues in central midfield. Ethan Ampadu is out injured at the moment. Sean Longstaff alongside him. Brendan Aronson, the American international, Noah Okafor, and then Joel Pirot, the Dutchman, playing behind Lucas Mecha up top, who scored that penalty on the opening Premier League weekend to give Leeds that first win against Everton. I'll give you this Sheffield Wednesday team in a second. Rio Shipston from midfield just scoops the ball forward with his right foot. That's gone out for a throw into Leeds on the left-hand side. 19 ties tonight. We've got reporters at 8 games. 4 more League Cup ties tomorrow night. Commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds comes live from Grimsby in the company of Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton. It is Grimsby against Manchester United on Sports Extra 3 tomorrow night. Club Brugge against Rangers. It remains Kairat 0, Celtic 0. Commentary of that at the moment is over on Sports Extra 3. So it's fairly quiet inside Hillsborough. I mean, that's the thing I was saying as well, Paul, before kick-off. You can't imagine a Sheffield Wednesday Leeds game that's probably ever been played in these circumstances inside this stadium. It's a bitter Yorkshire rivalry, and it just shows how strong the feeling of the Sheffield Wednesday fans and the supporters it is. They're going to have to do something, and they voted with their feet tonight. Look, the owner stopped putting his money in, so they're going to stop putting their money in, and it's a real statement. I mean, it's quite eerie, isn't it? I mean, it's our job to set the scene and give you a taste of the atmosphere. I mean, 2.5 of the stands are closed. The Leeds fans away to our left outnumber the home fans, because they're only in the bottom tier of this main stand. It's a real statement that they've made. It's a very eerie, quiet atmosphere, almost COVID-like, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like, Paul. Here's Leeds building down the left. Harrison comes back into his own half. Forward here to Harrison again, darts forward 5 or 6 yards, plays the ball wide to the left. This is Okafor with a little trick, drags the ball under the studs of his right boot, pokes it back to Longstaff. Wide it goes to Harrison, level with the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area on the left. Longstaff then gets his head up, diagonal ball into the edge of the box. Aronson chests it down, turns in the same movement. receives the ball back here from Byram, bit of space, thinks about a shot, little flick pass forward, half block, then it's loose inside the penalty area. Sheffield Wednesday managed to get it away up towards the young striker George Brown on his debut, heavily challenged on the halfway line, strong back pass from Bornau, reaches Carl Darlow, and the Sheffield Wednesday fans who are here believe possibly Brown should have had a free kick.
I agree with him. I think that was a really tough tackle from Jacob Biel on his debut here. Really put a foot in there, took out George Brown on the halfway line. I think if it was a little bit more fuller, there'd have been a few more complaints.
5 minutes played, we're at Hillsborough. Our commentary game on 5 Live tonight in the Carabao Cup. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds United 0, but keeping you across everything else that is going on in the competition this evening. Games kicking off at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 7:45 in this one at 8 o'clock. Here's Harrison again, hair tied back, number 20 on his back, taking his time here, closed down, can't see an option going forward, so passes back to Biol on the halfway line.
There's a difference already with Jack Harrison. You can see that the Leeds United fans covered their game in Dublin in pre-season against AC Milan. Jack Harrison came on at left back and his every touch was booed, but at the moment obviously the Leeds United fans, it's a full stand to our left. The boos have already gone away.
Barnsley 0, Rotherham 1. Another Yorkshire derby tonight in the League Cup, so Rotherham 1 up at Oakwell. Biol finds Harrison again. He's been very busy in the first 6 minutes for Leeds. Longstaff at walking place, plays back to Biol. Pretty much all Leeds United possession so far in the early stages of this game. Byram is closed down. Leeds work it back to the halfway line. Next break in play, I'll talk you through this Sheffield Wednesday lineup, named by Henrik Pedersen tonight, the manager. Fantastic fight back from them in the Championship on Saturday. 2-0 down at Wrexham, got themselves the 2-2 draw, but Henrik Pedersen has clearly decided cannot risk any of the senior players, the regular players at the moment. The Championship survival is too important. Here's Harrison's cross in from the left, deep one to the far post. Aronson controls it for Leeds, tries to lay it back to the edge of the penalty area. Wednesday get it away for now. Pressure continues with Gruev. Gruev's pass forward, and back it comes here to Bornau.
They're so submissive, Sheffield Wednesday. You can see the defensive shape already, playing with the 3 centre-backs, but it's very, very much a back 5, the line of 4 in front of them, defending in their own defensive third, almost on their own edge of the own 18-yard box. It's very, very easy possession at the moment for Leeds.
Pirro tackled. Chance for Sheffield Wednesday to bring the ball away. Jamal Lowe on the move inside the Leeds United half, feeds the ball to the right. Sheffield Wednesday might win a corner here off Biol. They do. Before they take it, let's check in at Molineux. Mike Maine.
Yeah, well, we played 37 minutes, Wolves 0, West Ham 0, both testing shots on target so far involving Jared Bowen. The first off his chest to tee up Soucek, whose low shot wasn't in the corner enough and saved by Johnston. Bowen then had his own shot from the left of the box, also saved. Wolves 0, West Ham 0.
Swansea 1, Plymouth 0, latest score in the Carabao Cup this evening. So corner for Sheffield Wednesday. Jogging over there to take it is Reece Johnson, who's playing at left wing back this evening, 19-year-old, one of many teenagers in the starting lineup. Jamal Lowe is lurking deep at the far post. It is aimed towards him. It doesn't get there. It's headed away. It drops in front of Aronson. Little scoop pass, blocked. Ball goes loose inside the Leeds half. Lowe is onto it, tries to play a ball forward. That is cleared towards the halfway line. 19-year-old Jarvis Thornton gets onto it for Sheffield Wednesday. He's involved again on the left-hand side. Pass down the left. Neat little 1-2. Here's Thornton again. Looks for the cut back to the edge of the penalty area. Gruev reads that for Leeds, controls it, and then passes it forward to Byram. Aronson under a bit of pressure for Leeds. Back he goes to Darlow. Darlow launches the ball forward with his right foot. It drops on the halfway line. Good bit of skill from Lucas Metcher to bring it down out of the sky. Lay off to Longstaff. Harrison quickly feeds it on to Okafor, who looks to use his pace down the left. He is tackled by the Brazilian Gui Sequeira, and it goes out for a Leeds throw. Paul Robinson.
You can see that they're very, very organised, Sheffield Wednesday. They've obviously been working on the shape without the ball defensively. As soon as they lose possession, they get back into a very structured shape. Henrik Pedersen's worked extremely hard, you can see on the training ground, but actually there, when they do get the opportunity to break out the shape, they got forward into the Leeds half, won a corner. They're the opportunities that they're going to have to try and make the most of.
Leeds passing the ball across the halfway line. Ethan Horvath is the goalkeeper for Sheffield Wednesday tonight. Emergency loan signing from Cardiff after regular number 1 Pierce Charles went down with a shoulder injury. The three centre-backs, 18-year-old Ernie Weaver, making only a second appearance for the club. Gabriel Otabeo and Cole McGee, the 19-year-old on debut. Guy Sekera and Reece Johnson, the two wing-backs. 19-year-old Jarvis Thornton, alongside the Zimbabwean international Sean Fusia and Rio Shipston, a 20-year-old in central midfield. Jamal Lowe, alongside the other debutant, George Brown up front. Sheffield Wednesday 0. Leeds 0. Next break in play will take you to Bournemouth. They're playing Brentford tonight. That will be the commentary over on Sports Extra 3 after Kairat against Celtic is over in the Champions League. That game remains 0-0, playing for a place in the league phase of the competition, with the draw for the league phase coming on Thursday. Here's Byram. Byram wide on the right, attacking position, finds Pirro. Little pocket of space for him, corner of the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area. Gets the ball at his feet again. Tall man wearing the number 10. Slides his pass beyond Harrison. Reaches Okafor. Okafor this time is able to squeeze his way past Sekera. Harrison's offering support. Okafor curls a high ball into the far post with his right foot. Headed up in the air, chested down by Byram. And this Leeds United pressure continues. Step over from Byram. No one's falling for that one. Quick feet from Aronson. He's trying to twist and turn wide on the right. Uses Byram again. Byram to Pirro, and back it comes to ball now. Paul Robinson.
Listen, it's all well and good for Leeds keeping possession as they are doing. They're absolutely dominating possession. All the stats are well in their favour, but it's important that the message comes onto the field. Possession with a purpose. Rotating the ball around midfield, playing in front of Sheffield Wednesday, not getting through them. They've got to cut through them at some point.
Strong sliding challenge, takes the ball off Leeds for a second. That was from Shipston. Harrison's cross is then blocked. It goes behind for a corner. So Bournemouth-Brentford being watched by Chris Wise.
0-0, 27 minutes played. It's taken a while actually for this game to warm up. Julio Soler, Bournemouth defender, he's hit the bottom of the post off a deflection, and Fabio Carvalho for Brentford has whizzed one just wide. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0.
Now that sounds like it's got a bit more of an atmosphere, that game, but I think any game tonight will have a little bit more of an atmosphere than this one. Corner about to come in here. Penalty at Molineux. Mike Maine.
Cheers, mate. It's on the spot. Well, Wolves have a penalty. Bellegarde tripped by Rodriguez on his first start for West Ham. Now Hwang, who captains the side tonight here at Molineux, has the chance from 12 yards. Referee has checked the penalty area. Areola with his arms spread out wide. Stands on his goal line, bouncing around now with Hwang staring calmly at the ball in front of the Wolves fans behind the goal to our left-hand side. Big weight from Hwang, who right-footed, hits the post, and the rebound finds a way in. Wolves take the lead. Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Thank you, Mike. It remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Sheffield Wednesday just struggling to get the ball away out of their own penalty area at the moment. Harrison onto it again for Leeds, crossing with his right foot, headed away at the near post by Weaver. Again, only as far as a Leeds player. It comes back to Gruev. Gruev across to the Belgian centre-back, Bornau. Long blonde hair flowing behind him. Byram brings it infield. Sliding challenge on him and a chance possibly for Sheffield Wednesday to bring it away, but they've lost possession inside their own half. Here's Aronson on the right-hand side. Paul Robinson looking for possession with purpose from Leeds United. They've won themselves a throw.
It's about tempo for Leeds, I think, in a game like this, where they are going to dominate possession, and you can see how Sheffield Wednesday are lining up, and they're quite happy without the ball in the shape they're in. You do just wonder if and when Leeds do break through and get the goal, what their plan B is, Sheffield Wednesday, whether they're just going to stay in the game for as long as they can. Listen, it's such an opportunity for them tonight. They're such a young team. As you said, under 20 years old, the majority of them, 19, 20.
That's a good ball from Harrison. Okafor in space, looking for the cut back to Pirro. Well read, volleyed away. Headed down by Gruev. Fusia gets on the ball for Sheffield Wednesday. Little pass to his right-hand side. Sekera gives it back to Fusia. Tries to spin on the ball inside his own half. Tackled by Longstaff. And it goes out for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. That, Paul, was a lovely peek behind the scenes of what goes on at Five Live. So Mike there getting ready to take the penalty. We just got a quick word. So that was him speaking to our producer Metin tonight, telling Metin exactly where the ball was when the penalty was coming. And then very professionally IQ to him, bang, he picked up and away he went.
I think Mike was probably hoping that nobody heard that or highlighted it.
Yeah. We've actually got the producer of Saturday's Five Live Sport, Claire O'Donoghue, coming onto the Commentator's View podcast this week. That is out every Friday on BBC Sounds. And I tell you what, Ian Dennis, John Murray and I are slightly worried about reputations being trashed, because Claire has all the stories on us three and our operation commentating on Five Live over the weekend. This is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Okafor, good run down the left. Chance for Aronson, excellent block sliding block at the back came from Reece Johnson, really important for Sheffield Wednesday. Skills from Pirro on the edge of the area, and Wednesday get enough numbers around him to clear the ball up towards the halfway line. Here's Byram controlling it for Leeds, has time to get his head up. Another goal at Cambridge for Sani Radravajala.
Yeah, Cambridge 2, Charlton 1, the Championship side pulling one back, and it's 18-year-old Ibrahim Fuller, who's only played 3 games for Charlton, and he scored his second goal for them again in the League Cup, just on the edge of the area, striking from distance. It's Cambridge 2, Charlton 1.
I see also that Bodo Glimt won up away to Sturm Graz in the Champions League playoff second leg, 6-0 on aggregate. Bodo Glimt.
Are we going again? Do you fancy going to the Arctic Circle
again? I would love to. I would love to. Paul and I were there at the end of last season watching Tottenham with a famous win that got them to the Europa League final. John Murray has already got his hand up, Paul, for that one. He is desperate to go to the Arctic Circle. So, I mean, there's every chance if they get to the league phase, which I'm sure they will, that they draw an English club, because there's 6 of them in the Champions League. That draw's coming on Thursday. This is League Cup football tonight. This is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Cross in from Byram goes all the way through the Wednesday penalty area. Chance for Foussier to bring it away. He's lost it to Harrison. Harrison speeding forward. Cross comes in. Half block. Pirro underneath it. Heads it down. Mecha. Clever attempt at the finish and a good save in the end from Ethan Horvath. Goal at Stoke, Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Bradford. They lead 2-0. Brad Halliday played into the area right side. Just the keeper to beat, but it's straight through Bonham, and the Championship leaders are in a bit of trouble here. Stoke 0, Bradford 2.
Wouldn't be surprised if we're hearing from Gavin Wallace shortly as well. Kairat against Celtic. The whistle is blown for full time after extra time. I can see on my screen it is 0-0, heading towards the penalty shootout. Huge roars from the Sheffield Wednesday fans that are inside the stadium tonight, because they've won a free kick in an attacking position. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0.
They're not afraid to go slightly more direct here, the Sheffield Wednesday. We've seen the goalkeeper, they're not taking the risk, playing across the 6-yard box, and now they've got this free kick, 20 yards inside the Leeds United half. The 3 central defenders have all gone forward, and this is certainly going to get put in the box. And like I said before, set plays, these are the opportunities that they're going to have to maximise.
So here it comes then. Free kick from the halfway line into the penalty area it goes. Header is won and headed high in the air, but Darlow is able to come out and collect it. Otabeo with the header. Darlow slings it out with his right arm, sees Harrison in space on the left-hand side, brings the ball up towards the halfway line. 17 minutes gone in the first half, and it remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Preston back in front against Wrexham in the League Cup tonight. Liam Lindsay has scored. Preston 2, Wrexham 1. Ball now bundled off the ball, throw into Sheffield Wednesday. Come in Gavin Wallace watching Kairat against Celtic in the Champions League.
210 minutes of football, Ali. No goals across both legs. Kairat 0, Celtic 0. Chances at a premium, and it's a £20 million penalty shootout coming up.
Wow, stay tuned then. Gavin will keep us updated here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Half-time whistle has blown at Molineux. Mike Maine.
Yeah, Wolves 1, West Ham 0. Hwang's penalty hit the left post with power, rebounded to Rodrigo Gomez, who on his first start was first to react. Not sure how cleanly he hit it, but it squirmed under the diving left arm of Alphonse Areola. Wolves' first goal of the season sees them lead West Ham 1-0.
Leeds Belgian centre-back Sebastian Bornau sent sprawling by the 19-year-old George Brown. Sheffield Wednesday have won a throw high on the left. Good couple of minutes for them.
And it's brilliant just watching Henrik Pedersen, the manager, Sheffield Wednesday manager below, as he's actively up and down out of his technical area, desperately trying to get on a message to his team. He wants communication, he wants them to get out, push up. Listen, they'll grow in confidence. They'll take this game in stages. He'll have said to them, get to 20 minutes, keep a clean sheet, and then we build from there. As they keep a clean sheet and the game gets longer and longer, they will grow in confidence and they'll see their opportunities become more apparent. They've stayed in the game now, nearing the 19th minute?
Yeah, still 0-0. Long ball downfield from Ethan Horvath, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. Jamal Lowe is onto it. Goal at the Vitality Stadium now. Chris Wise.
For Brentford, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1. Really routine, actually. Long ball forward from Rico Henry. Henry nodded down into the path of Fabio Carvalho, who'd had that big chance earlier. Now he's got his goal. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1.
Cup upset on the cards at Cambridge at the moment. Sani Radravajala.
Yeah, League 2 leading the Championship. Cambridge 2, Charlton 1 at the break. James Brophy and Killian Kouassi on his full debut after 29 minutes, giving Cambridge a 2-0 lead. Ibrahim Fuller, a minute from the break, 18-year-old, pulling one back. At the break, it's Cambridge 2, Charlton 1.
Also got League 1 Bradford 2-0 up away at Stoke, top of the Championship at the moment. Cardiff City have scored a second goal against Cheltenham, though, bottom of the Football League at the moment. Cheltenham Town 2-0 down at Cardiff. Callum Chambers has the second goal. So 20 minutes almost played here at Hillsborough, and this very young Sheffield Wednesday team actually holding this Leeds team quite comfortably at the moment, Paul.
They've had no real clear opportunities, Leeds United. Nemecha there just had a strike on goal that Hovra saved comfortably, but I think the referee would have blown up for a push from Joel Perreault in the 18-yard box. And as you say, it's been all one-way traffic. Leeds dominating possession stats hugely, but actually without creating any real clear-cut opportunities. Can't remember Ethan Hovra really been overstretched.
Leeds have it inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Gruev receives the ball, fires it forward to Perreault. Perreault turns in the middle of the Sheffield Wednesday half. 2 men on him, but he keeps possession. It's out wide to Brendan Aronson on the right. Back it comes here to Sam Byram. Byram to Bornow, and Bornow across to Biol. All the Bs for Leeds involved. Burnley Derby, there's been a goal. Julia Bold.
It's now Burnley 1, Derby 1. Derby hadn't had a shot on target or off target, but Bobby Clark has changed that. Burnley 1, Derby 1.
Here's Bornow for Leeds on the halfway line. Sheffield Wednesday have every single player behind the ball. Received by Okafor.
It's a hard shift, isn't it? When you don't have possession, you're constantly trying to get in a defensive shape, chasing the ball all night. It's not a pleasant way to play football, but they're certainly putting a shift in.
Gruev, first time pass, that's got to be an offside flag against. Okafor turns, curls the shot wide, and it goes behind for the goal kick. And Daniel Farke, the Leeds manager, turns on his heel, shakes his head in frustration, sits down and throws his arms out wide and says, how on earth have we messed that up? Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. 10 signings for Leeds so far this summer, Paul. James Justin has joined from Leicester. He's the latest addition. In terms of some of the football you've been played by some of them, like Mecha, like Okafor, what have you made of them?
I think they've recruited well, and I think Daniel Farke has said in his post-match press conferences that they still want more in attacking areas as well. I think the injury to Ampadu could become apparent. He struggled at times with injuries. Tanaka injured as well, but I think the signing of Justin shows real intent. Been really impressed with the left-back Goodmanson and Stack. I think Anton Stack will be a real important player for Leeds this season, both defensively, but I really like him in that number 10 in the offensive role. Okafor, big signing, great experience, 25-year-old Swiss international, AC Milan. He was on loan at Napoli last season. To get a player like him, I think it's a real coup.
Midway through the first half at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Big money penalty shootout in the Champions League over on Sports Extra 3. Kairat against Celtic. Goal in the game between Bromley and Wickham. Emily Herbert.
Bromley equalise. It's Bromley 1, Wickham 1. Jude Arthurs with a great whack into the top right hand corner from inside the box. Scored a penalty in round 1. He's got an open play goal today. You've got to say it's been coming. It's Bromley 1, Wickham 1. So
League 2 levels against League 1. Turn on the edge of the box and driven shot goes flashing over the crossbar, which Horvath was probably worried about for a second or two, but in the end it was Mecha's right foot. He got the parry, just couldn't quite keep it down. The applause continues from the Sheffield Wednesday boss, Henrik Pedersen. Let's check in on the penalty shootout in Kazakhstan. Gavin Wallace.
2 penalties down, 1 each, and both have missed. Adamida, it was saved, and then Gromyko, he chipped it over the goalkeeper, it hit the bar. Both first penalties have been missed as Celtic with Luke McCowan about to take their second.
Celtic fans biting their nails. Rangers against Club Brugge tomorrow night. Start the second leg away from home, 3-1 down. Full commentary of that game on Sports Extra 3 tomorrow.
Put it brilliantly, Gavin, didn't he? Put it really into perspective. A 20 million penalty shootout. They're bad enough, they're nerve-wracking enough without that riding on it.
So if you're the player, you cannot be thinking about that. We've got to try and push that out of your mind. Concentrate on the technique and stick it away. 0-0 at Hillsborough. Throw in for Sheffield Wednesday. Blue and white stripes, the famous blue and white stripes on the front of the shirts. All blue backs to those shirts, blue shorts, blue socks. Attacking the goal away to our left. You can hear the Leeds fans singing over there away to our left. Another throw in one. Jamal Lowe doing a good job up front for his team. Ball's come back towards the halfway line. Foussier under a little bit of pressure, gets his first time pass away. Back it comes here to Otterbayo, looking for the ball over the top. George Brown will chase that. Ball now will get there first for Leeds. Byram has it, plays back to Darlow. Darlow just bobbles a pass with his right foot across to the Slovenian centre-back Jakub Bijol. Leeds debut for him tonight. Cross to Bornau, fellow centre-back, fellow debutant. What about those penalties? Gavin Wallace.
Luke McCowan, Ali missed his penalty. The goalkeeper saved it, but Alexander Martinovic has just stepped up and put the goalkeeper Schmeichel the wrong way. So Kira are up 1-0 on penalties.
And Celtic have missed 2 out of 2. Stay tuned for the updates on the penalty shootout and Celtic's hopes of playing in the league phase of the Champions League again this season hanging by a thread at the moment. Almost 25 minutes played here. Ball over the top. Pirro tries to bring it down. Aronson's there, closed down inside the penalty area. Cole McGee, really important touch from him and a tackle. And Sheffield Wednesday get the ball away, win the throw. Paul.
Lovely ball over the top. That's the first bit of direct play that we've seen from Leeds United. Bijol it is, catches the Sheffield Wednesday defence half asleep. Pirro gets in behind. It's a decent first touch, but it doesn't stay with him. It ends up at the feet of Aronson. And the Sheffield Wednesday defender comes across McGee, puts in a lovely block and thwarts the Leeds United danger. Listen, we're talking about Leeds and how well they're doing, and yes, they are dominating everything. But we've discussed the Sheffield Wednesday team, how young they are. It's almost an academy side.
Yeah.
They're holding a Leeds United. It's 25 minutes and they're still in this game without having their goal under any real threat.
Yeah, last season these two met in the Championship. Leeds did the double over Sheffield Wednesday, won 2-0 here last August. Goals from Brendan Aronson, who's out there tonight, and Daniel James, who is on the bench. Both of these clubs, of course, winners of the League Cup. Leeds back in the early days, 1968, with the Terry Cooper goal that won the trophy against Arsenal, and Sheffield Wednesday 1991 under Ron Atkinson. John Sheridan scored the goal that beat Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United in the final. Celtic and the Champions League, it's down to penalties. Gavin Wallace.
Engels stuck his into the bottom corner, but Ofri Arad has really put Gasper Schmeichel the wrong way. Celtic down 2-1 in penalties as McGregor's about to step up.
All the reaction in the Football Daily later on tonight as well, which will be there for you on the BBC Sounds app first thing tomorrow morning. Of course, ball's gone out for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. We've not got you updated on Birmingham Port Vale yet this evening in the Carabao Cup. Betty Glover.
That is because not a huge amount has happened. It's Birmingham 0, Port Vale 0. Birmingham started off the better side in this first half. Port Vale, though, are growing into this. They should be 1 or 2 goals up. 2 massive opportunities from corners. Fowl had his header palmed away while Humphrey sent his shot over the bar. It's Birmingham 0, Port Vale 0.
Earliest kick-off tonight, Reading-Wimbledon. Reading leading now 2-1. Mamadi Kamara has got the second goal for Reading, and Southampton have scored away at Norwich just before half-time. So at Carrow Road, Norwich 0, Southampton 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. 18 minutes remaining in the first half, and back to those Celtic penalties very shortly. Here's Harrison playing the ball to the left. Skills from Okafor. Pacey cross. Attempted glancing header. Aronson effort at the far post. Well saved by Horvath. Didn't really have the power on it, the shot. I think if Gruev had been able to get a proper contact on the header, that may well have ended up in the back of the net.
That's one of the first real crosses that we've seen flashed across the Sheffield Wednesday box. It's all been very narrow and very in the middle of the field from Leeds.
Gruev's long ball down the middle, and Ethan Horvath, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper, leaps and catches it safely on the penalty spot. Gavin Wallace.
And just as you came to me, Dyson Maida stepped up. He went with the inside of the right foot. It was far too easy for the goalkeeper to save, and that means he's missed it. Kyra are going through for the first time in their history to the Champions League stage. This is unbelievable. It will cost Celtic upwards of £20 million. They've been poor over the 2 legs, and they've went out on penalties, Ali.
Well, that is a story tonight. Devastating blow for Celtic. They will not be in the league phase of the Champions League. Okafor's taken a tumble inside the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area. He's looking for a penalty. He's not going to get it from our referee, Robert Jones. That is a massive blow for Celtic.
Well, the damage was done in the first leg, wasn't it? I think to go away from home without having a lead to at least defend. It's a massive, massive blow for Celtic and for Scottish football as well.
So Kyra win 3-2 on penalties, and as Gavin was rightly saying, what an incredible achievement for them to be in the league phase of the Champions League. Rangers up tomorrow night. They're up against it as well. 3-1 down against Club Brugge away from home. Full commentary on the game over on Sports Extra 3 tomorrow night from 8 o'clock on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Grimsby against Manchester United. So throwing in the left back position here for Sheffield Wednesday. Empty stand Behind that goal, Sheffield Wednesday are defending. Here's Aronson, who's come the closest to scoring. Gets away down the right, cross to the far post, beats everyone. Chased out there by Okafor. Back to goal. Side puts his pass back to Harrison. Couple of touches, plenty of time to pick out a man inside the penalty area. Balloons the cross behind for a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday. And there's a few boos and jeers, Paul.
A few disgruntled Leeds fans away to our left-hand side, not feeling that the side's making the most of their possession and their dominance. I mean, it's just been so easy for them in possession, hasn't it? But without really creating any clear-cut chances.
Goal kick then, Sheffield Wednesday, 15 minutes remaining on the first half. Now a goal at St Andrews for Betty Glover.
Just before the break, Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1. It has been coming. Came from a corner. Headley with a diving header into the far corner. Nothing the keeper could have done. Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1.
So League 2 Cambridge leading Charlton 2-1. League 1 Port Vale 1 up at Championship side Birmingham, and League 1 Bradford 2-0 up away at Stoke. League 1 Huddersfield 1-0 up away at Sunderland. So plenty going on this evening in this competition. Celtic will not be playing in the league phase of the Champions League this season, and you may well want to give your thoughts on that on 6:06 on Saturday night. Chris Sutton will be taking your calls. I'll be there alongside him on Saturday. Headed towards goal from Otabayo for Sheffield Wednesday, ends up in the arms of Carl Darlow. Because Chris will certainly have his thoughts as well. What were you looking at there on your phone?
I was just having when you said the Grimsby Manchester United game that we're covering tomorrow. Didn't bring back pleasant memories, in all honesty. Back to 2005, I remember a Tottenham team going there and getting turned over 1-0. So it's certainly going to be a good listen tomorrow night.
Okay.
Blundell Park in Cleethorpes is not the easiest place to go for a Premier League side. I can vouch for it personally.
Chris Sutton's involved in that one actually. He's part of our commentary team alongside Ian Dennis. Plymouth have equalised against Swansea in the League Cup tonight. That is 1-1 in that tie just before half time. Byram plays back to Aronson for Leeds. This very young, callow but fearless Sheffield Wednesday side doing their bit so far this evening, holding Premier League leads 0-0. Second round of the Carabao Cup. Okafor, again trickery from him, but the diagonal low ball is blocked. Fusier's pass back into midfield, and Brown just tried a little layoff there to find the run of low and didn't quite get enough on it. And here's Okafor again on the halfway line, who finds Harrison infield to Longstaff, tall figure in the Leeds United midfield. One of those signings this summer. It takes a while, doesn't it, to get used to seeing a player like Longstaff, who you so associate with one club, playing for another club. Slightly helps tonight, he's actually playing in black, because that's what we're used to seeing him in, the black and white, but he's now a Leeds United midfielder. Here's Metcher, dummies across with his right foot. McGee's not falling for that, goes in for a second tackle as well. Metcher tries to hold him off. McGee's had enough of that, has a hack at him and brings him down, but initially excellent defending.
Really good defending from Cole McGee there. Tracked Nemecha. Nemecha was taking his time, he was too slow, it was pedestrian-like, as the Leeds possession have been at times. Defensively, Sheffield Wednesday have been excellent. You've got to give them so much credit. They've come out with a game plan from the manager that every man to a man knows their job, and they're working extremely hard, but you do just wonder how hard they can work in this system.
Free kick then for Leeds, which will come from the right flank. Brendan Aronson will take it. Wipes his nose with his right hand, looks twice at the ball. Just a one-man wall. Can a wall be one man, or is it just one man? I guess it is Jarvis Thornton, and that's not good delivery from Aronson. Low, chested down on the edge of the box. Now Thornton, who was the one-man wall, plays the ball back into the left-back position. Johnson knocks it forward. Here's Thornton again. Lovely bit of skill. Beats Okafor, takes it up to the halfway line. Gets the pass away to Low. Low inside, keeps moving for Sheffield Wednesday. Fuzier slips it to his right. Shipston lines up the shot, driven low into the box, and it's blocked by Biol, and out for a throw into Sheffield Wednesday. And the fans, the home fans that are in here tonight, absolutely loving that.
Well, they're growing in belief, they really are. They've turned defence into attack very, very quickly. Shipston, Thornton, Fuzier all involved, got the ball forward, Jamal Lowe. And Leeds didn't like it. They were caught cold. If they can get in areas like this, Sheffield Wednesday, they've got an opportunity now, a throw in deep in the Leeds defensive third. Centre halves going up. It looks like it's going to be a long throw in again.
Yeah, Millwall 1, Coventry 0. Massimo Luongo has scored just after the half-hour mark in that game this evening. Long throw comes into the penalty area, aimed at the near post, bodies everywhere. Fuzier nods it down. Leeds stick a long leg out and manage to clear the ball away. Sheffield Wednesday have it though, and Reece Johnson, 19-year-old left back, Forward to 19-year-old Jarvis Thornton, and back they come into their own half. 19-year-old Cole McGee. Horvath, the goalkeeper, plays it forward, and no one gets on the end of that, and Jack Harrison is going to be able to pick up possession for Leeds inside his own half. Half-time at Stoke. Lee Blakeman.
Upset on the card. Stoke 0, Bradford 2. Will Swan headed in the first, Brad Halliday slotted in the second, and this much changed Stoke side haven't had a proper shot on goal yet. Bradford have been superb. They lead Stoke at half-time 2-0.
And what about a potential upset at the Stadium of Light? Chris Coles.
Yeah, it's on here as well, Ali. League One in front against Premier League. Sunderland 0, Huddersfield 1. Leo Castledean's fabulous volley, exemplary technique to both hit it with power and finesse. They deserve it. Sunderland's completely changed team haven't offered much. Sunderland 0, Huddersfield 1.
Metch's shot is blocked for Leeds, and Horvath comes running forward and makes an easy grab. Leeds just opening Sheffield Wednesday up there for a second, but Wednesday able to get bodies in the way to get a block on the shot. Metcher on the turn, midway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, fouled. That'll be a Leeds free kick. Half-time at St Andrews. Betty Glover.
It's Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1. Could have an upset here too. Birmingham started off the better side, dominated possession. Port Vale though grew into it, had some massive chances through set pieces. Their persistence eventually paid off. Headley totally unmarked, heading home across from the right, straight past the keeper. Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1.
Leeds have taken the free kick. It's worked to the right. Back it comes to Bornow. Bornow plays it across to Biol. Sheffield Wednesday, this young team in their defensive shape. Harrison is there. Ball underneath his left boot, gives it to Okafor. Harrison continues his run. Otabayo comes thundering across, slides in, makes the tackle. He's got himself hurt. It's gone behind for a corner, and I think we're going to get a stoppage in play. Corner or goal kick?
I think the referee signalled for a goal kick.
So do I.
Otabayo then really flew in at Jack Harrison. He had to time his tackle perfectly, the speed that he was heading in. It looked like he did, but he's immediately down in a heap over to our far right-hand side.
Bromley knocked out Ipswich in the first round of the League Cup. Tonight at home against Wickham. Emily Herbert.
Bromley 1, Wickham 1 at the break. Magnus Vestergaard opened the scoring for Wickham 5 minutes in before Jude Arthurs levelled half an hour later with a stunning strike. Top right corner off the bar and in, right in front of the home fans. Remember, League 2 Bromley have already made history tonight, reaching this stage for the first time, and they remain unbeaten this season. Half-time, Bromley 1, Wickham 1.
Second half commentary on the way of Bournemouth-Brentford on Sports Extra 3 after Celtic's exit from the Champions League this evening. They lost to Cairo in a penalty shootout. Watching Bournemouth-Brentford 5 live tonight, Chris Wise.
Half-time, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1. The one goal, bit of a throwback really. Long ball forward from Rico Henry and the nod down from Aya. The composed finish from Fabio Carvalho. Not too much in it between the two teams. Many changes, elements of rustiness, but it's Bournemouth B team 0, Brentford B team 1.
Half-time at Turf Moor, or as John Murray would say, Turf Moor. Julia Bold.
It's Burnley 1, Derby 1. Aaron Ramsey, who's had a year and a half journey back from a knee injury, opening the scoring for the home side. He was centre of goal after just 4 minutes. The equaliser, half an hour later, Bobby Clark, who's on loan from RB Salzburg with the equaliser. Low shot, left side of the box, into the back of the net. Even at the break, Burnley 1, Derby 1.
Stats on this game so far, where are we? 8 minutes before half-time, and I think exactly as you'd expect, certainly in terms of possession, that is 80% for Leeds United. There's a goal at Molineux, by the way, Mike Maine.
Where West Ham are level 4 minutes into the second half. Tomas Souček's header, towering header, 6-yard box. Cross comes in from the right, he's unmarked, he heads it home, and it's Wolves 1, West Ham 1.
I wonder if towering header goes in the great glossary of football commentary if it isn't already in there, but that is definitely what you associate with a Tomas Souček goal.
Well, I was going to ask you again, but the play moved on very quickly.
Yeah.
A discussion.
Oh, yeah.
A one-man wall. Is it a wall?
Is it? Yeah.
Throw that to the floor.
It's
That's
got to be.
Another topic of discussion.
Yeah.
Is one man classed as a wall?
That's.
Well, I suspect. I wonder. Depends on the size of the man, I presume.
Yeah, and I also heard Rory Smith on the Monday Night Club. Where do you stand, Paul, on goalkeepers having walls for free kicks, particularly from long distance? Because I know Wayne Rooney argues at the moment that sometimes you just don't need the wall. You shouldn't have the wall.
Depends from certain distances. You've got to back yourself, and I think the wall has become a routine and it's become some part of a set play, and players practice, so they become attuned to shooting against a wall. And if you don't put a wall there, they don't have the opportunity to whip and dip in the same way as they would. 25 yards, 30 yards from goal. You put 10 balls out there in training at the training ground and say to somebody, go on and beat me from that distance. Very rare they would be able to.
Game is back underway. Otabayo was the man down for Sheffield Wednesday. Their goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, clears up towards the halfway line. If you are just tuning in, this is the second round of the League Cup tonight. We're live at Hillsborough, pretty empty Hillsborough tonight because the Sheffield Wednesday fans, by form of a protest, most of them have not turned up for the game this evening as they continue their protest against the club's owner, Deshfon Shansiri. So the attendance for the home game against Stoke in the Championship, just over 20,000, I think 21,600 odd tonight. It's probably going to be 2,000 or so Sheffield Wednesday fans in here, but it still remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0, and Leeds have passed the ball straight out of play for a Sheffield Wednesday throw.
You'd be lucky if there's double figures in here tonight. I mean, we know that Leeds have got near on 3,000, but we can't actually see what's down below us, but it's only the bottom half of this main stand for the Sheffield Wednesday supporters that's open. But I mean, it's an incredible show of solidarity from the fans. I mean, to pick a game like this, there's a fine line, as we spoke in the pre-game show, of actually staying with your team, supporting your team, to actually we've got to a point now we need to make a stand. I think there's a lot of football supporters across the country will look at this and say, do you know what, fair play. It's an incredible show of solidarity from the supporters, it really is.
It is, Paul, and I think you mentioned it before the game as well, because I know, this club has had its troubles down the years, and at times the fan base kind of has been divided, but it does feel that at the moment they are really unified. I mean, listening to some of the fans talking after the game away at Wrexham, and just the efforts being put in by the players at the moment in really difficult circumstances, it has really unified the club. You're not missing any football at the moment because Otabayo is down again. Now, he didn't play in the last league game because I know Henrik Pedersen, the manager, definitely sees him as a key figure for Sheffield Wednesday, but just felt he'd had quite a bit of football at the start of the season and needed a little bit of a rest. And it is going to be a change for Sheffield Wednesday towards the end of the first half. Joe Emery is coming on. He's a teenage centre-back who made his debut for the club in the League Cup tie against Bolton in the first round of the competition. So Otabayo is off. You're losing a 20-year-old Republic of Ireland youth international there, so you're not talking about an experienced player, but there's an even less experienced player coming onto the field for Sheffield Wednesday, but it remains 0-0.
And interestingly enough, he slots straight into the middle of that back three, plays as a central defender. I wonder if they're going to change shape at all, but they certainly have at the moment. He's slotted into the middle of that back three. And looking at number 25, has gone across to the right back area to play right wing back.
Long ball over the top of the Sheffield Wednesday defence. Metcher's interested. That ball is volleyed away by Ernie Weaver, then cleared down the line by the substitute Emery, helped on towards George Brown. He's got a bit of pace about him. Biol under pressure, gets the ball back to Darlow, awkward one, chests it down, flicks it away, high ball to his left hand side. Fuzia nips in for Sheffield Wednesday, leaps and heads it out for a throw. Let's check in at Cambridge. Sani Rajavajla.
Well, it's still Cambridge 2, Charlton 1. The League 2 side leading the Championship team, even though these two were in the same division last season. A host of changes for both sides. Cambridge still holding on to it. Charlton are pushing back. Caroy Anderson going close a moment ago, and so did Harvey Nibbs. Cambridge 2, Charlton 1.
On air with you until 10:30 tonight with 5 Live Sport here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. All the reaction to the football as well in the Football Daily podcast. Reaction to Celtic's exit from the Champions League. They've not made the league phase. 2 goalless draws against Cairo, and they've gone out on a penalty shootout tonight. Biol has the ball for Leeds, feeds it to Longstaff, lets it run through his legs, dribbles it to his right, chips a ball down the right looking for Byram. Slight miscommunication there. Cole McGee is able to take a couple of touches, then drills it forward with his left foot. Lowe's looking for the flick onto Brown. It falls to Fuzia. Fuzia drives it forward on the half volley, but straight at Cole Darlow. He collects for Leeds.
Yeah, substitution that's been forced on Sheffield Wednesday. This shape hasn't changed. Joe Emery's gone in as that third centre half, and Sikiera he'll now play in the wing back position. But they've done so well, Sheffield Wednesday, out of possession. They really have. They've looked rigid, they've looked structured, and they've kept Leeds United to few chances.
Bornau for Leeds, wide to Aronson. Goal at Cambridge now, Sani.
Well, yeah, I said Carlton were coming back into it, but Cambridge have gone down the other end and scored. Pinball inside the box, and Zach Bradshaw has slid in to make it Cambridge 3, Charlton 1.
Here's Pirro on the ball for Leeds, inside left channel. The initial pass forward is blocked. He gets another chance, plays it back to Biol. Across to fellow centre-back Bornau for Leeds. Now Longstaff, Fuzia comes up close to him. Longstaff doesn't see a way past, so Leeds work it around the pitch again, back to the halfway line. Biol very nearly caught in possession there by Jamal Lowe, actually clipped Biol and apologises for that. Play continues though. Aronson had a chance to get going down the right there, decided to turn back. Gruev plays it forward, and this time Pirot is tackled. George Brown, the 19-year-old striker, on his debut for Sheffield Wednesday tonight, making that in very difficult circumstances, brings the ball forward, tries to hold off the defenders, eventually concedes a throw to Leeds.
They're making hard work of this, Leeds. They are. I mean, the dominance of possession, they're actually taking it for granted now. Possession at times becoming slow. That's twice Gruev's been caught in possession in the middle of the pitch, and Sheffield Wednesday still snapping into the challenges.
Jack Harrison continues to get stick from some of the Leeds fans away to our left. Here's Gruev on the centre spot. Short pass to his left to Longstaff, pace on that, zipped across to Harrison, drops a shoulder and beats his man, feeds it infield. Okafor moving at speed, really important challenge made by Emery, and behind it goes for a late corner in the first half to Leeds United, because we're coming up to 45 minutes played and it is still Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0.
There's a little flash for Leeds United fans to see. Okafor shows how quick and direct he is there. It's a good ball into his path from Jack Harrison. His first touch was wonderful, put him in a really good shooting position. Sheffield Wednesday got the block.
3 minutes of added time at a deserted Hillsborough tonight, still 0-0. Corner for Leeds from the left, delivered at pace, headed away to the edge of the box. One touch taken by Aronson, played, then the curling shot straight at Horvath, pats it down. Pirot was interested in the rebound, and Horvath, all in green, falls at his feet and grabs the ball before the Dutchman can shoot.
Simple catch for the goalkeeper, wasn't it? Patted it down in front of him. I think a couple of Leeds United players felt there might be some scraps there, but the goalkeeper was in control of the situation the whole time.
Former American international Horvath, he's the emergency loan from Cardiff, third choice at Cardiff City, but now doing an important job for Sheffield Wednesday, because Pierce Charles really one of the key men at this club. Cole McGee, then Thornton's ball back to Shipston for Sheffield Wednesday. Right-footed pass goes down the left wing, but out of play for a throw-in to Leeds, and we got 2 minutes of added time remaining. I can see Millwall 1, Coventry 0 is a half-time score in the Carabao Cup this evening. Grimsby, Manchester United, the commentary tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and then plenty of Premier League commentaries coming your way over the weekend. Our 3 o'clock offering on 5 Live and BBC Sounds comes from Old Trafford. That is Manchester United against Burnley. 3 o'clock Tottenham Bournemouth on Saturday, available to listen to on Sports Extra. Paul will be alongside John Murray, 5:30 on Saturday for Leeds against Newcastle. Jamal Lowe collects the ball 25 yards out. Biol panics, slides in, concedes the free kick. Shooting opportunity late in the first half, right in the middle of the pitch, 25 yards out.
Do you know, that was a really good ball over the top by Reece Johnson. Had found himself in a little bit of time and space in the middle of midfield, lifted it in between and over the Leeds United defenders, and Jamal Lowe took a really good first touch, was brought down, and it's in that exact range that you were just asking me about. Do you need a wall? There you go. It's about that distance there. What is it, 10 yards outside the box?
Yeah, so it's probably 28 yards from goal then, isn't it? And the vanishing spray has gone down just inside the penalty area at a slightly rakish angle. Okafor's gone down as the draft excluder / skirting board, as previously discussed on the commentator's view, because obviously it's by the wall, so that's why it becomes the skirting board. 5 tall men in the Leeds wall, and Jamal Lowe is stretching off here, which suggests he's going to try and hit an absolute rocket towards that goal, which Darlow defends. Here he comes, few steps to the ball, right-footed Keller, oh goodness me, just wide of the right-hand post. Now that would have been a story if Sheffield Wednesday had taken the lead just before half-time.
I'll tell you what, he's worried. Carl Darlow, the Leeds United goalkeeper, made tracks across his goal very quickly.
Leeds giving the ball away from the restart. Now they've got it back, stretching for it. Okafor, he's gone down, not going to win a free kick. Sheffield Wednesday sensing an opportunity late in the half. Here's Jamal Lowe again, wide on the right hand side. Can they get the ball in the penalty area? Yes, but it's too close to Darlow, and on the bounce he gets down, grabs it on the half volley, punches the ball away. And the Sheffield Wednesday fans, all of whom pretty much are beneath us in the lower tier of the South Stand, quite rightly give their young team a standing ovation at half-time. Tough times for this football club, and this really is a very inexperienced lineup up against the Premier League team. And yes, they've made a lot of changes as well, but at half-time, Paul Robinson, 0-0.
There's two very, very different ways of analysing that first half. from a Leeds United point of view. Very comfortable in possession, over 78%, nearly 80% possession. Slow possession without any real end product, but they dominated a game that you would expect them to. From a Sheffield Wednesday point of view, those youngsters were absolutely superb, and for the few fans that are below us in this stand that have made it into Hillsborough tonight, a standing ovation for them, and absolutely rightly so. They've spent a lot of the game without the ball, they've spent a lot of the game chasing the ball, but every single one of them has put in a real shift. They've understood their work, they've understood the shape that the managers wanted, and they've made it difficult for Leeds.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday fans proud of the players. I think the players proud of the fans tonight as well. Half-time here at Hillsborough. Best chance in the game, Brendan Aronson, close range effort, not enough on it. Couldn't beat Horvath in the Sheffield Wednesday goal. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0.
Alistair Bruce-Ball and Paul Robinson will be back with you very shortly for the second half of that game. Joby McAnuff has been watching as well. There's not been too much in it between the sides, Joby, but who's been more impressive from your point of view? Which manager will be happier?
Oh, definitely Sheffield Wednesday. I think if you look at what we spoke about going into the game, the age of that team, which is so young, lack of experience, going up against, players that are costing multi-millions, I think from their point of view, they can be absolutely delighted with that first half. They've worked so hard. It's exactly how you thought the game would obviously pan out, but they've defended, they've run hard, they've got their shape when they've needed to. Yes, they've struggled to get forward and maintain any real momentum in those attacking areas, but again, that little chance towards the end, Jamal Lowe gets a free kick. It's going to be one of those potential moments tonight, maybe a set piece, if they can get themselves up and force a little bit of pressure. But certainly the emphasis is on Leeds to be a lot better with the ball. I just think they've been a bit slow sometimes in terms of what they've tried to do. And listen, you'd have to imagine as the game goes on and those legs get a little bit more tired from Sheffield Wednesday's point of view, maybe those gaps will open up a little bit more, but definitely expecting more from Leeds United in that second half.
Mind you, with youth on their side, that energy might just keep them going for the rest of the evening. But look, as you mentioned, Leeds not doing a huge amount with the ball. They've had a lot of possession. They've had like 78% possession, but they'll want to have a bit more bite to their attack, won't they, in the second half?
They will, but again, it's something we see a lot, particularly at this stage of these competitions when there is wholesale changes and players that haven't had a lot of time together. There's a lot of new signings, obviously Okafor in there, Nemetra starting tonight as well, Longstaff in there, and again, particularly across that defensive line. So I think from their perspective, you can't expect perhaps maybe them just to click into gear straight away. I think we are seeing a little bit of that. Again, for those players, there is minutes in the legs, and you're just expecting a little bit more quality for me just in those final third areas because they've had so much of the ball. Again, whether it is that final pass, whether it is that little bit of pace added to those attacks just to try and create those opportunities, because at the moment Sheffield Wednesday have done a really good job of just stifling those attacks.
And that's why it's 0-0 at half-time in that game between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United. But there has been a goal at Wolves. Mike Miney.
Where West Ham now lead by 2-1. Bowen's cross from the touchline on the right-hand side. Brilliant diving header towards the near post for Lucas Paqueta. And so from behind, West Ham now lead. Big celebrations in the corner, as you can imagine. Wolves 1, West Ham 2.
Regular updates from the EFL Cup throughout the evening here on 5 Live Sport. We'll hear from our reporters between now and the final whistle in those games. We'll also bring you news of a big shock in the Champions League. But time now for the latest BBC News on 5 Live with Erica Witherington.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Taylor Swift's announced her engagement to the American footballer Travis Kelce. In an Instagram post, the singer shared pictures of the pair embracing while she wears a huge diamond ring. Caroline Sullivan's a music journalist.
They did the proposal underneath in a garden with a flower-filled arch above them. We don't know where that is. It could even be a photo studio setup, But I have a feeling the real proposal took place in private somewhere else recently. I really do.
Hampshire police have named the third person who died when a helicopter crashed in a field in the Isle of Wight yesterday. Simon Hewitt was 54 and from Lincolnshire. Earlier, the family of a couple from Oxfordshire who were killed said they were heartbroken at their loss. 4 people were on board for a flying lesson. Another person remains in hospital. Ministers have dismissed Reform UK's plans to deport hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers within 5 years of being elected as unworkable gimmicks. Leader Nigel Farage says that if Reform wins power, he'd secure deals with countries like Afghanistan to send migrants back. And he said there'd be sanctions for countries which didn't comply.
Unless we start deporting people, I predicted this would turn into, and yes, I use the word, invasion. But 180,000 people later, what other word could possibly describe what has been going on?
The Israeli military says its attacks on a hospital in Gaza, which killed 20 people, including 5 journalists, were meant to hit a camera position used by Hamas. An initial report published by the IDF says 6 of those killed were terrorists. 4 people have been arrested after pro-Palestinian protesters allegedly broke into and damaged an aerospace factory in Staffordshire. A group calling itself Palestine Martyrs for Justice has claimed responsibility for the action at the Moog Aircraft Group. And the Met Office says this summer will almost certainly be the UK's warmest on record. Provisional figures show the average temperature since the start of June is 16.13 Celsius. That's more than a third of a degree warmer than the previous record, which was in 2018.
Who will be lifting the 100 trophies in the men's and women's competition?
Driven through the covers.
Every huge boundary.
Clobbered over her head. Away to the boundary for 4.
Every huge six.
Fielder underneath it, can only watch it go over his head.
Every wicket.
Should be a simple catch. She's gone.
Catch it all. The 100 Finals Day. This Sunday from 2:15.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Hello, welcome back to 5 Live Sport. 0-0 between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United at half-time in the second round of the EFL Cup. There are 19 matches this evening. We're at 8 of them. We'll update you on those shortly. But before that, there's been a massive upset in the Champions League playoffs. Celtic are out after losing on penalties. Gavin Wallace was watching us for us. And Gavin, it's hard to overstate how big a shock this is for Celtic.
This is huge. It's massive. I think there's going to be massive ramifications on this. The manner in which they've competed over the 2 legs, poor. They've had chances, they've missed them. Dyson Maida's been poor. Most of the team have been poor. And now the focus will probably shift, Kelly, to the board and the manager. Is this a case of, they went out? They've definitely went out as a whimper. But when you don't spend money and you don't freshen up the squad, then it looks as if this could be embarrassing, I think, for Celtic. That's very strong. But Brendan Rodgers, I've just been listening to him post-match, said defensively he was happy, but they don't have quality up top. He said the pitch wasn't good tonight either, but apart from that, he was relatively happy with the defensive performance. But then when you look back at the penalties, Dyson Maida's got to score that one. The same as Luke McCowan, he missed one. Adam Ida, he's a striker, he's your number 9. He's got to score that as well. They only had 2 or 3 chances during the whole match, which, when you look at the quality on paper between Kira Almaty and Celtic, with all due respect to those from Kazakhstan, Celtic should have been going through tonight. This is something, Kelly, I think that's going to ring round for a long time now, and the toxic nature inside against the board at Celtic, I think, is probably only just going to amplify over the next couple of weeks, and of course an Old Firm match coming up.
Gavin, I saw a Celtic fan talking on the BBC Sport website earlier on, and he was saying that Celtic have had a habit of not investing from a position of strength. The problem now is that this is going to have cost them millions of pounds because they haven't qualified for the next phase of the Champions League. How much has this damaged them financially?
It's going to damage them huge. You're talking £20-odd million here, aren't you? And then remember as well, Kuhn, Kyogo and O'Reilly have all left in the last, 6 months to a year. They've not replaced those players. They've got money in the bank. They got 40 million odd from last year's Champions League in that the new league phase. It looked as if it might have suited them. Yes, they got a little bit of an easier draw, absolutely. But when you're in Europe's elite, you still have to perform. And they did that last year. But when you don't spend, and I just got a feeling, Kelly, that the Celtic board just decided, let's just hold off just now and see if we can do this without. But now you're going to have the coefficients all to pot now in Scotland, so you have to play more games next season to even get to that point of where they were playing Kira Almaty tonight as well. The ramifications for this are going to go on for a long time yet.
Absolutely, and makes it harder for them to attract players for the future as well. Thanks so much for that, Gavin Wallace, with the news of that. But as he said, this is going to rumble on now, the ramifications of Celtic's exit from the Champions League at these early stages. Play continues at Flushing Meadows in the US Open. Abigail Johnson is watching. Abigail.
Hello, I am indeed, and it was a troubling start to the day for the Brits because Katie Boulter and Sonny Cartel each lost to seeded opposition, but we have 3 more still to play. 2 are on court now. Billy Harris present as a lucky loser tasked with 25 seed Felix Auger-Aliassime. He did rally back from a breakdown in the opening set, but was just broken for the 6-4 opener for the Canadian on a bouncing Stadium 17, and it's a tough task for qualifier Fran Drones. Didn't drop a set last week, Jones, but Eva Lees, the German, is in fine form and has raced to a 5-love lead in the opening set. We're keeping across that in Flushing Meadows.
Abigail, thank you very much. Coverage continues on 5 Sports Extra. Let's go through our matches in the EFL Cup this evening, starting with Wolves against West Ham. That one got underway at 7:30. Mike Mayne's watching.
Where it is still Wolves 1, West Ham 2, 19 minutes left of this game, now under the jet black skies of Molineux. And Wolves are having to chase this. They're going to throw on 4 substitutes in a moment. Before that, Hwang's got a free kick midway inside the West Ham half here, drills it low, wide of the left-hand post, goal kick West Ham. So they're going to throw on Doherty, Gomez, Chachua and Strand Larson as well. So they're really going for it. Vitor Pereira's side without a win this season, as are West Ham, but they've come from behind. The latest goal being Paquetá's diving header to give them a 2-1 lead. Wolves 1, West Ham 2.
Mike, thank you very much. So let's take you through the rest of the games then. Another 7:30 kick-off, Cambridge United against Charlton Athletic. Sani Rajavajula.
And it's Cambridge 3, Charlton 1, the League 2 side as it stands going through to the third round thanks to goals from Brophy, Kouassi and Zach Bradshaw in the second half. They've been really impressive against the Charlton side, admittedly, that made 11 changes from the Championship defeat to Leicester. We have 72 minutes gone and it's Cambridge 3, Charlton 1.
Sani, tell me if I'm telling tales out of school here, but anybody who was listening earlier knows that you've taken a break from a family holiday in order to work at this game between Cambridge and Charlton, which, you know, is a wonderful thing to do as far as 5 Live Sport is concerned. But you suggested earlier that it might be quite nice to get away from the in-laws for a while. But unfortunately, someone was listening.
They have been made aware of this down in sunny Felixstowe on the Suffolk coast, thanks to my wife rewinding back on BBC Sounds and having listened to that. So yeah, I traded in the beach this afternoon for the Abbey. But you know what? I'm living my dream here. I'm watching football and getting paid to do it, and I'm away from the in-laws and the kids. This is great.
You might want to see if they've got a camp bed for you.
I'm doubling down.
Sani. Thank you very much for Sani Rodravagula and for his latest domestic update as well. Let's check in at Bournemouth against Brentford. Chris Wise.
I think those locks might be changed when he gets back tonight. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1. We're actually only, 11 minutes into the second half here. Bournemouth have been much better since half-time. They've had a couple of opportunities. Amin Adli, their new signing from Bayer Leverkusen, with a breezy run. His shot just lacked the thrust, and a moment ago, Ryan Christie teasing free kick, which was headed over by James Hill. But it's the sort of response that Andoni Iraola would have wanted, I think. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1.
Commentary of that on Sports Extra 3. Burnley against Derby County. Julia Bold.
It's still Burnley 1, Derby 1. Derby's Ibu Adams had a long-range shot. That one straight at the keeper, though, after the break. And then Burnley's Joe Worrell has just tried a really cool flick in front of goal. Unfortunately, just went over the top of the bar. Burnley made 11 changes for this game. They made another one at half-time. Axel Tuanzebe is on, while Matt Clark has come on for Derby. But it is still 1-1 here at Turf Moor.
Sunderland against Huddersfield Town. Here's Chris Coles.
Huddersfield leading Sunderland by a goal to nil at the Stadium of Light, but much brighter from Sunderland in this second half. They've had a couple of decent opportunities. Mark Guiu, the Chelsea on-loan striker, his full debut tonight, presented the ball 6-7 yards out, but quickly smothered by Lee Nichols in the Huddersfield goal. But it is all Sunderland now after what had been an insipid first half, as another shot goes just wide. Sunderland 0, Huddersfield 1.
At the Bet365 Stadium, watching Stoke against Bradford, it's Lee Blakeman.
And Stoke are in all kinds of trouble. Stoke 0, Bradford 2. First half goals from Will Swan and Brad Halliday separate the two teams. Stoke have gone close in the second half. Spurs loanee Jamie Donnelly shooting straight at the keeper from the edge of the area. The noise you can hear around me, at last there is some noise, is because Stoke have got a corner. They're trying to fight their way back into it, but with an hour played, a lot of work to do. Stoke 0, Bradford 2.
We'll keep you up to date with the rest of the games that are taking place across the evening here on 5 Live Sport, but they're about to kick off in the second half between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United with Paul Robinson and Alistair Bruce Paul.
Thank you, Kelly. I can just see that Wrexham have equalised against Preston in the second round of the EFL Cup tonight, so that game is at 2-2. This game at Hillsborough, which is pretty deserted for the reasons we've already explained, is 0-0. And Leeds playing in change kit this evening. Pretty much all black have kicked off this second half. They're playing from right to left in the second half. They're coming back to their goalkeeper Carl Darlow, and we'll get an early update in the second half of Birmingham Port Vale. Betty Glover.
Birmingham trying to get through to the third round. For the first time in 10 years, they've got their work cut out, though. Trailing Port Vale 1-0, 59 minutes gone. Boss Chris Davies made a triple change, which includes top scorer Jay Stansfield coming on. They've been better most of the possession, but yet to have a proper chance. Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1.
Horvath, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper, had to be sharp there off his line, sliding in at the feet of Metcher. Grabs the ball for Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Sheffield Wednesday's team of teenagers holding the Premier League outfit of Leeds United. I guess the question will be, Paul Robinson, how long will it be before Daniel Farke looks at the bench and the likes of Daniel James? What about Dominic Calvert-Lewin actually potentially making a debut for Leeds tonight?
I think the amount of quality that he's got on the pitch, I think the message from him at half-time will have been, we need to do more and we need to do more quicker. They've dominated possession, they've dominated the game, but without any real purpose, without creating any real clear-cut chances and opportunities for themselves. It's been very slow, very pedestrian-like. Yeah, absolutely. You look at all the stats, look at all the columns, everything is massively weighted in Leeds United's favour, but they've done nothing with it.
0-0 then at Hillsborough. Taking you back to Bromley in a second. Gruev, the Bulgarian for Leeds, with his left foot finds the Belgian Bornau, centre back on his debut for Leeds tonight. Gruev has dropped in between the centre backs inside his own half, plays it across to Jaka Bijol. Bijol with his right foot sends Jack Harrison scampering away down the left, gets to that ball, crosses it in, and it's blocked down by the byline and goes behind for a corner to Leeds. A quick update from Bromley. They're playing Wickham in the League Cup this evening. Emily Herbert.
It's Bromley 1, Wickham 1. Both sides just feeling each other out in this second half. End-to-end play. Wickham probably starting the brighter, quicker out the blocks, but this could go either way. And Bromley's top goal scorer, Michael Cheek, has just entered the pitch. Half an hour to go. League 2 Bromley holding League 1 Wickham at 1-1.
The aforementioned DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is down there with the subs bib on and is going through an early warm-up in this second half. Leeds have a corner away to our left in front of the thousands of Leeds fans. Header towards goal. Hoiked up in the air, Horvath punches it away. Sheffield Wednesday can't quite get it clear. Aronson gets his body in the way. Right old scramble on the edge of the box. Powerful header this time. Drops down midway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, and that is a brilliant touch and turn and sprint down the right-hand side by young striker George Brown. He uses the ball well as well. Finds centre forward Jamal Lowe. Back to Brown. Left-footed effort. Oh, and scrambling away to his right is Darlow, who makes the save. It may well have just been going wide. We're taking it to Stoke. Lee Blakeman.
It may well be all over now. Stoke 0, Bradford 3. Shot from the edge of the area. Brilliantly saved by Stoke keeper Bonham, but it went straight to George Lapsley, who tapped it in from a few yards out, and the championship leaders are heading out. Stoke 0, Bradford 3.
Metcher tackled for Leeds by Fuzier for Sheffield Wednesday. Early stages of the second half. Fuzier is knocked off the ball. Here's Jack Harrison, has it for Leeds on the halfway line. Gruev, incisive pass to Pirro, looks for the run of Metcher. Intercepted, Fuzier shoved to the floor. That'll be a free kick for Sheffield Wednesday. Result in the 100 tonight. The game at Headingley this evening. Northern Superchargers against the Manchester Originals. Georgie Heath.
Yeah, it was a convincing win in the end for the Manchester Originals. Their target was 140 and they chased it down in just 84 balls. Much thanks to some magic from Joss Butler, scoring 70 off just 37. Kept company by Ratchin Ravindra, but the 140 was just never enough put up by the Northern Superchargers. They are into the eliminator on Saturday, so it doesn't matter too much for them. For the Manchester Originals, it was about playing for pride, and that they did. So they win it here by 6 wickets, chasing down 140 in just 84 balls.
Leeds trying to play with a little bit more sharpness here. Here's Okafor, the Swiss international, dancing feet in from the left-hand side. Challenge comes in from Shipston and knocks Okafor over. That'll be a free kick for Leeds, 25 yards out, and it's sort of in the inside left channel, so nice for the right footer to try and curl one round the wall and hit it towards the top corner. Paul Robinson.
That was a great move earlier on when we just had to cut away there from George Brown, the young debutant for Sheffield Wednesday. The striker had a wonderful touch in the middle of the pitch and a couple of 1-2s with his strike partner Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lowe got a shot in from the edge of the box, deflected, didn't really cause Carl Darlow that much trouble, but actually real good forward thinking from Brown.
In terms of the potential upsets at the moment in the EFL Cup this evening, Port Vale 1 up at Birmingham, Cambridge leading Charlton 2-1, Bradford 3 up at Stoke. Stoke top of the Championship at the moment, Bradford going well in League One, but some result for them tonight. And Premier League Sunderland 1-0 down still at home to Huddersfield. Southampton now 2-0 up away to Norwich. Ryan Fraser with the second goal for Southampton. The whistle blows at Hillsborough. It echoes around the empty stands. Gruev, left foot, low, looking to squeeze one in at the near post. And it's a good couple of yards wide of the target. And Horvath applauds the defensive wall. Rob Green sent me a message, by the way. He'd been listening to the first half commentary. You know the old question about can one man be a wall?
Yeah.
He said a one-man wall, that's a wally. But I think he was actually probably referring to the person who sent the question in the first place, which was me. So we've played almost 6 minutes in the second half at Hillsborough. You're listening to it on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Celtic, the big news tonight, out of the Champions League, beaten on penalties by Kyra. 2 0-0 draws. Celtic will not be playing in the league phase of the Champions League, and Rangers have got a real job on to try and get into that league phase. They're away to Club Bruges tomorrow night. Commentary on Sports Extra 3. They'll start 3-1 down. Sheffield Wednesday have won a throw on the right attacking position.
They're growing in confidence. They really are. They've obviously, the manager said to them at half-time what a wonderful job that they've done in the first half. Now go and express yourself. There's going to be opportunities to break out of the shape. Go and see if you can cause Leeds United some problems. They've had a lot more attacking threat in these opening 6-7 minutes of the second half than they carried at all in the first half.
There's Emery. Joe Emery's on as the substitute late in the first half for Sheffield Wednesday, now playing in the middle of the back three for Sheffield Wednesday. Another goal at Molineux. Last we heard West Ham were 2-1 up. Who scored? Mike Maine.
And Wolves have made it 2-2. Ali, 82 minutes on the clock. A shot from outside the penalty area, saved by Areola. Rebounded to Strand Larsen, who was leaning back, fell to the ground as he struck the ball, but it went past the goalkeeper. It's made it all level, and now we have 8 minutes to find a winner. 2-2.
Goal at Bournemouth as well, Chris Wise.
Second for Brentford, so they're 2-0 up now just after the hour. Alex Scott dispossessed by Frank Onyeka. It was a 3-on-2 situation. Brentford got lucky that it bobbled into the path of Igor Thiago off the bench to score. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 2.
Clever ball from Mecha to the right-hand side. Leeds attacking just short of the penalty area, and Joel Pirro might be frustrated the whistle was blown there. The referee could have played an advantage. He was right. There was a foul on Byram on the edge of the box, but Pirro was trying to move himself into a position to shoot from the edge of the area. Leeds have been given another free kick in a good position.
Yeah, a really good position. This time slightly closer, 5 yards outside the box on a really good angle. You think it's probably set for a left footer. Gruev took the last one, slips it alongside the wall, went wide of this near post. I think he stood over it again, having a conversation with Aronson. There's a few options that they've got over there, Leeds.
Yeah, it's a 3-man conflab over the ball at the moment. Harrison stands to the right of the ball, Aronson to the left, but Gruev has sent them both away, and he's going to have another go. Now, last time he went low and went under the wall. What's he going to try and do this time? Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Waiting for the referee's whistle. Leeds have constructed their own little wall to the right of the Wednesday wall. Curling effort just wide. Good strike from the left boot of Gruev, which had Horvath throwing himself to his right, but it's not found the target. It remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0, and another goal at Wolves. Mike Maine.
What did I say? 8 minutes to find a winner. We only needed one. Wolves have gone and made it Wolves 3, West Ham 2. A header on the edge of the 6-yard box, crossing from the right-hand side, and there was substitute Strand Larsen again. Wolves 3, West Ham 2.
So first goals of the season for Jorgen Strand Larsen. Barnsley 2-1 up against Rotherham in the Carabao Cup this evening. And Josh Woods sent off for Accrington. That is Accrington against Doncaster, goalless so far in the League Cup this evening. But Accrington are down to 10 men. It was Joel Pirro with the free kick there. Is there enough on that back pass to Horvath? There is just enough, but this time it reaches Pirro, the clearance, and Leeds have a chance. Aronson shoots, deflected, it goes spinning over the bar. and away for a corner to Leeds, and Sheffield Wednesday are under a little bit of pressure, and it looks like Leeds, Paul, are about to make a double change.
Yeah, the two that have been out since half-time, just warming up away to our left-hand side. You spoke about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Daniel Farke said he wants to get him match fit and in a place where he can string a run of games together, and I think it's going to be important to build him up slowly. But him and Wilfred Gnonto have both been called back to the bench. Obviously very much an attacking change for Leeds, but something that Leeds United fans have been looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin debut for Leeds on the way. Run here and shot in towards the near post. A little bit greedy that, possibly from Aronson, trying to squeeze that in. Horvath was down low to his left, had it covered. It ended up in the side netting and goes behind for the goal kick. So Daniel Farke has been making the point, Paul, about Dominic Calvert-Lewin sort of being behind. He's been on an individual training programme to try and get up to speed. I think Daniel Farke used the figure of like 5.5 weeks behind on pre-season training. That sounds like quite a lot to me, particularly for a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has had his injury problems.
Listen, he's had a lot of injury problems over the years, and I think he's had a lot of managers that have tried different methods and different ways of keeping him fit on a regular basis. There's no doubt there's quality there. The goal-scoring talent is there. He's proved that at international level as well, but actually in recent years his career's been blighted by injury. It's a real coup for Leeds to get a signing of that quality and of that level, but the job is to keep him fit on a regular basis and get him to score the goals that's going to keep Leeds United in the Premier League.
Do you remember who he played for at the start of his career? Sheffield United.
Was it Sheffield United?
12 appearances for Sheffield United. So I wonder if the Sheffield Wednesday fans might remember that when Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes onto the field. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Willie Gnonto about to come on for Leeds 2. Ball over the top looking for Mecha. Chasing back is Siqueira, the Brazilian, who's playing at right back for Sheffield Wednesday. He thought he was fouled there by Mecha, but he's conceded the corner. Not giving you the lineups in this second half as yet. There's been plenty going on in the other games as well, so I'll do that when I get a chance. But Leeds, of course, about to change that lineup by making the two changes. Calvert-Lewin, the big fella, and Gnonto, the little fella, the speedster, the trickster, waiting to come on. There's another trickster, Okafor, good skills, trying to make space on the edge of the area. Back it comes to Aronson, prompts a pass to his left to Harrison. Delicious little cross into the near post, headed away. Harrison gets it back again, tries to hold off the challenge. Harrison down on his knee, picks himself up again. Aronson is there to help him out, passes back to Longstaff. Longstaff slides it out to the left again to Harrison. Harrison doesn't see the crossing opportunity, comes back to Longstaff. Angle is tricky there, diagonal ball towards the far post. It's beyond Pirro. Pirro turns, is able to keep it in. Then a little back heel from him to try and win a corner, but it went into the legs of Reece Johnson, came back onto Pirro and went behind for the goal kick. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0.
Almost an hour in the 58th minute, and this is turning into a game of difficult proportion for Leeds United when it shouldn't be. The way that they've dominated it, but it's been slow, it's been pedestrian-like, and the manager's reacting now almost on that hour mark, and he's making the changes. He's bringing Calvert-Lewin on for his debut.
Yeah, Brendan Aronson comes off for Wilfred Gnonto, the Italian, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, signed from Everton in the summer on a free transfer. Yes, they do remember, the Sheffield Wednesday fans, who he once played for. Calvert-Lewin, the hair is long, it's tied back. Very distinctive figure, tall, angular, centre forward, number 9 on his back, and good to see him out there fit and playing football. What can he do for Leeds United this evening, and what can he do for Leeds United this season? Some game at Molineux tonight. We were hearing Jørgen Strand Larsen with 2 goals late on, so Wolves were 2-1 down, they're 3-2 up on West Ham. We'll keep you updated on everything that is going on in all the football tonight as Biol heads it away for Leeds and nodded out of play by Joe Emery, another 18-year-old in this Sheffield Wednesday lineup. So they've got Horvath in goal, the 18-year-olds Emery and Weaver alongside the debutant Cole McGee as the 3 centre-backs for Wednesday. Siqueira and Reece Johnson, the 2 wing-backs. Jarvis Thornton, Sean Fusier and Rio Shipston in midfield as Gnonto gets onto the ball for Leeds. Little drag back on the right-hand side. Something different for those Sheffield Wednesday defenders to think about. Jamal Lowe and George Brown remains the front 2 for Sheffield Wednesday, and Henrik Pedersen, I think, will be loath to make too many changes to his team given the importance of the game at home against Swansea at the weekend, although he does have some experienced players on the bench. Okafor over on the left hand side, Accrington down to 10 men and now 1-0 down at home to Doncaster as Harrison gets the cross in from the left, might fall to Gnonto, chests it down, the ball got big on him. has eventually got it down, but has had to dribble himself away from goal in his bright orange boots. Comes back to Beale. Just sense a bit of pressure building here from Leeds. Longstaff. Leeds went out last season in the first round of this competition, lost 3-0 at home to Middlesbrough, and tonight they certainly are expected to go through against this very young Sheffield Wednesday side. Here's Pirro, corner of the Wednesday box, into the feet of Byram. Byram not quite sure what to do with that. Turning, runs himself into trouble, just about keeps the ball. Back to Pirro. Pirro to Longstaff. Longstaff scoops the pass out to the right. Byram is there, gets the cross in. That's the kind of ball Calvert-Lewin loves to attack. He couldn't quite get there. Little flick pass forward by George Brown, intercepted by Bornow for Leeds. Pressure continues to build from the Premier League team. It remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0. Byram to Gnonto, who's definitely added a little bit of a spark on that right-hand side. He gets the ball back again, thinks about the cross, slides the pass through the gap here to Byram, stands the ball up to the far post, no one really there, it bounces once, Harrison hits it well, that's blocked and it runs away to the halfway line.
That's 4 crosses that have gone into the box since Dominic Calvert-Lewin's come on. He's not touched the ball, but it just shows that he occupies central defenders, he occupies the width of the 18-yard box, and Leeds will look to put crosses into the box towards him.
Gnonto in again down the right, low cross into the near post. McGee stretches out a leg, knocks it behind, and it goes behind for the corner. So Leeds are Darlow in goal, Byram, Beale, Bornow and Harrison as the back four, Gruev and Longstaff in central midfield, Gnonto on the right, Okafor on the left, and Joel Pirro playing in behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Celtic out of the Champions League, lost on penalties tonight to Cairo. One of the big football stories for you this evening. Rangers in action tomorrow night. Corner for Leeds in front of their fans. In from the right it comes towards the near post, flicked on, beats everyone. Referee spotted something in there. Foul against Bornow on one of the Sheffield Wednesday defenders, and that's going to be a free kick to Wednesday. So we've played over an hour, Paul, and it's still Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds 0.
They've been superb, Sheffield Wednesday, the way that they've stuck to the task. Granted, they haven't ventured forward on that many occasions. Carl Darlow very rarely touched the ball, never mind called into action. I think Leeds have looked a little bit better in the recent minutes, going wider. I think it's been all very congested down the middle of the pitch, and that's what Sheffield Wednesday have wanted. They've directed all the traffic into the middle, made it very congested, and those 3 centre-backs and the 4 midfielders have dealt with things very well. But now with Okafor on the left, Gnonto wide on the right, crosses coming into the box. Leeds United need to get the ball wide, move the ball quickly and get crosses into the box, because the wide areas is where they've looked at the most dangerous.
Sheffield Wednesday about to make a couple of changes in the attacking area of the field. They've won a throw. That was the big roar from the Sheffield Wednesday fans beneath us. So changes won't be made just yet. Red Star, I see, have gone 1 up at Paphos in the Champions League playoff second round. So Red Star 1 up on the night. That is 2-2 on aggregate, that tie. And Bodo Glimt 1-1 away to Sturm Graz, but Bodo Glimt won the first leg 5-0. Cross comes in from Jamal Lowe. Brown gets his body in the way, might fall here. Driven shot by Thornton, palmed away by Darlow. Low shot into the near post. It's over the line, is it? The assistant referee is pointing, says goal. I don't believe it. Sheffield Wednesday have scored. This team of teenagers are leading Premier League Leeds United by 1-0 in front of a pretty deserted Hillsborough, with the fans protesting by not turning up, trying to make their point, trying to force the owner out. But the players will not be downed. The shot is spilled by Darlow, it's squeezed through his legs, and incredibly, Sheffield Wednesday lead Leeds by 1-0.
What a story we have in the making. You've got to give them so much credit. We said about the Leeds United goalkeeper being completely unemployed this whole game. Switched off, he made a real mess of the shot. The ball comes out to Jamal Lowe, squeezes through Carl Darlow's hands, and it gives Sheffield Wednesday the most unlikeliest of leads here at Hillsborough tonight, in a game that they've not really been in, other than defensively chasing the ball, structurally very good. They've gone down the other end and could be making one of the biggest shots.
Wow. Well, given the circumstances, given what's gone on ahead of the game and at the game, and given the lineup that Henrik Pedersen has gone with tonight, and yes, Leeds have made 9 changes, but look at the relative strengths of the two teams. Sheffield Wednesday packed with teenagers, half of them making their debuts, most of them with barely 2 or 3 appearances for the club, have hung in there, they've held Leeds, and they've got their goal. Mistake by Carl Darlow, and now one of the teenagers comes off, and that is George Brown, but he's put a shift in, and his team are in front. Will Granger, the 16-year-old Will Granger, makes a debut, young Welshman, and comes on with Sheffield Wednesday leading by a 1-0. And the other change sees Ike Ugbo get onto the field too, and it's Jamal Lowe, who forced the mistake, who is coming off. So the top two have been changed, 25 minutes to play, and Hillsborough is definitely sounding at its most lively. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 0.
What an incredible story starting to unfold. That certainly wasn't on the script this evening. They've done so well, Sheffield Wednesday. You've got to give them so much credit just for the way they've stuck in and hung into this game. But as they've stayed in the game, they've got more and more confident, and they've dared to venture forward, and they've tested the Leeds United goalkeeper, and he wasn't up to the test.
Okafor's cross blocked, and it goes behind for a Leeds corner. That is the response from Leeds. A double change from Sheffield Wednesday. Accrington 0, Doncaster Rovers 2. 8 minutes to play in that game. Looks like Doncaster will be going through to the third round of the EFL Cup. Sheffield Wednesday leading Leeds here by 1-0. And as the full-time whistles blow, we will bring you all the scores from all the games this evening, and no doubt some penalty shootouts on the way too. 25 minutes to play. Harrison, the away swinger, fizzing across the box. Nyonto hits it well wide of the target, and the Sheffield Wednesday fans love that. And we mustn't forget as well, Paul, given everything else that is going on, a win in this game, you know, whether it's for Sheffield Wednesday or for Leeds, that means this game means a lot, just a standalone game in terms of it being the Yorkshire derby.
Yeah, and taking momentum forward as well. I mean, what a story that we've got unfolding in front of our eyes at the moment. Still 25 minutes to play, but you can't heap enough praise on Sheffield Wednesday and the players. I mean, it's the epitome of what they're going through at the moment, the club, the players, the togetherness that they've showed. They've not been in this game at all, but Leeds United have only got themselves to blame at this stage.
Ugbo jumps for a header. Harrison with urgency tries to get the ball down the left-hand side. Sheffield Wednesday bodies everywhere inside the Leeds United half. Longstaff tackled, thought he should get a throw. He's frustrated and balls at the assistant referee. And he was the key man, wasn't he? When that shot went through Darlow's legs, everyone's head suddenly swiveled to see where the assistant referee would point. No goal line technology, pointed towards the halfway line. And Sheffield Wednesday have the lead.
It was interesting when the Sheffield Wednesday players celebrated as well. There was a coming together, a huddle in the penalty box as you'd expected, but then they made their way over to the main stand here, where there's a small section of the supporters that have come tonight, and they just stood in unity and applauded the supporters.
Yeah, I think there's something like 1,500 of them, Paul, that have gathered in a club nearby here somewhere to listen to the game, watch the game together, you know, who are making the protest, but obviously they're denying themselves the pleasure of watching their football club. And you really feel for those Sheffield Wednesday fans. They will be absolutely delighted with the performance these players have put in. Full-time whistle has blown at Molineux. Mike Maine.
Wolves 3, West Ham 2, a flat first half where Wolves led through Rodrigo Gomez. The heads of Souček and Paquetá had West Ham in front, but late on 2 goals in as many minutes from the substitute Jorgen Strand-Larsen, and Wolves have got their first win of the season. More problems for that at the West Ham defence. 11 goals conceded now in 3 games so far. Wolves 3, West Ham 2.
Got a funny feeling it might be Sheffield Wednesday's night. While we were listening to Mike there, Ethan Horvath, the goalkeeper, has made a stunning double save from Okafor and Nyonto. Another ball into the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area. It comes out to Harrison, takes a touch, good first touch, looks for the 1-2. Sheffield Wednesday get bodies in the way. Okafor is first to the ball for Leeds. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 0, midway through the second half. 10 changes made by Henrik Pedersen tonight. Team full of teenagers leading Premier League Leeds as Byram gets down the right hand side. Cross comes in, tempted volley from Okafor, ball didn't fall for him. Gruev is here, pressure is building again. Harrison stands the ball up to the far post, no one there for Leeds. The ball will stay in play. Nyonto goes over to collect it down by the byline, comes away from the byline, stabs a pass back to Byram, it's beyond him. The attacking move has lost momentum for now. Southampton have a third at Norwich in the EFL Cup tonight. Norwich City 0, Southampton 3. Wolves are through. They've beaten West Ham 3-2. Huddersfield still 1-0 up away to Premier League Sunderland. Nyonto, ball just beyond him. Sliding challenge comes from McGee. Last touch came off Nyonto and the ball goes out for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, you have just got to wonder where this urgency that Leeds United have all of a sudden discovered since going that goal behind has been for the previous 68 minutes. I mean, they've been really, really poor in this game going forward and creating chances, but actually Sheffield Wednesday, they've stuck at their task. They've gone forward and they're really going to force Leeds' hand now. What answers have Leeds United got that they've not had in the previous part of this game.
Daniel Farke is looking to turn to another couple of players on his bench. Jayden Bogle right back. Anton Stack, the German, who's been impressive so far for Leeds since signing in the summer. Ball from Okafor out to the right-hand side to Byram. Sheffield Wednesday holding on to the 1-0 lead at the moment. Gnonto has the ball at his feet again. Gnonto on the move. Brilliant dribbling. Low shot blocked. And the ball comes out of the Sheffield Wednesday box. Goal at the Stadium of Light. Chris Coles.
The Premier League side are finally level. Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1. It's been all Sunderland in this second half. Numerous chances. Mark Guiu finally takes one. He's off the mark for Sunderland. Cross from the left. His header into the corner. Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1.
Brilliant challenge made here by Guy Siqueira, the Brazilian for Sheffield Wednesday. Stopped Okafor in his tracks, getting away down the left. So that will be a throw-in for Leeds. Here comes the double change. Gruev comes off to be replaced by Stack, and Jayden Bogle, who had 4 seasons with Sheffield United, is getting some stick from the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Former Derby man too, of course. He comes on for Sam Byram. Leeds behind and being embarrassed, really, Paul.
Yeah, and that's another attacking change that Daniel Farke's made there. Gruev more of a defensive minded midfielder, bringing Anton Stack on. He'll play a lot higher up the field, a lot more advanced. Longstaff will be the one, if they need one, will be the holding midfielder. But at the moment the defence are coping very, very comfortably without any real offensive threat. Now from Sheffield Wednesday, it's all about hanging on in there for the last 20 minutes and maybe hitting Leeds United on the break.
Fraser Murray scored a late goal for Wigan. Wigan 1, Stockport 0. Second round of the EFL Cup. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We're at Grimsby tomorrow night for full commentary of Grimsby Manchester United. Here at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday lead Leeds 1-0. That's got to be a foul on Pirro. Edge of the penalty area, 22-23 yards out. Another chance from the free kick. Gruev went close with one. Pirro went close with one. The pressure is going to build on Sheffield Wednesday here, leading by a goal to 0. And Pirro's very good in those situations, isn't he, Paul? Ball at his feet, tight spaces, winning the free kicks.
Yeah, well, that's where he likes to play. He occupies that number 10 role, and he's a real danger and a real threat in there. In the way that the game's panning out now, he's going to have no defensive responsibility going forward. Notice that he's just taken the captain's armband now. Sam Byram's gone off. Pirro's wearing the armband, and it's him that they will look to ignite something, really, to try and create something in the final third.
Let's see what Leeds can do with the free kick then. Trailing 1-0. It's that Harrison who's standing over the ball, who could hit it with his left foot. Pirro's moved away. Anton Stack, the German, is also there, who could hit it with his right. Ethan Horvath, fabulous double save in this second half to keep Leeds at bay. Can he keep this one out if it's on target from Harrison? No, it's not. It's straight into the wall. It bounces back to Harrison. Couple of touches, looking for a cross, blocked at close range. Painful block there. Sheffield Wednesday player down. Harrison keeps going out to the right to Gnonto. Dummies the cross. Again, switches back to the right foot. Over hits the cross beyond the far post. Okafor will chase, keep the ball in play on the left-hand side. Side foot's a first-time pass back to Longstaff. Longstaff has to turn away from goal and plays back here to Stack, who is deep for Leeds. Across to Jayden Bogle. Bogle's first-time ball given to Gnonto. Bogle speeds forward, tries to get into position to receive a pass. Gnonto looks for him. Gnonto was fouled. Corner of the box. Another Leeds free kick coming. Drama at Cambridge. Sani Radravajala.
Well, Charlton are down to 10. 103 minutes gone thanks to injuries, but an overhead kick attempted by Karoy Anderson. He's connected with the face of the defender. Second yellow card for him. 103 gone. Cambridge 3, Charlton 1.
Henrik Pedersen, is that Barry Bannon he's changed? So Barry Bannon might be coming on, Paul, to try and help Sheffield Wednesday close this game out.
Well, they're in a stage in this game that they probably didn't expect to be, in all honesty. I mean, it's a fantastic achievement to be this far, but actually ahead in the game with something to hold on to. The experience of Bannon may be called upon.
Burton 0, Lincoln 1. 89th minute goal scored by Ben House that could be taking Lincoln through to the third round of the League Cup. Free kick for Leeds. 17 minutes plus added time to be played. Sheffield Wednesday up against it in every sense of the word, but leading 1-0. High floated one at the far post. Horvath comes. He's punched the ball straight up in the air, and then he catches it on its way down by the near post. Could easily have gone back into his own net. What about his double save as well, Paul?
That was a brilliant double save. Good move from Leeds United. Pirro, Gnonto into Gruev, and he made two really good saves.
Long ball downfield for Granger to chase. Longstaff under pressure. Didn't get any help really from his teammates. Felt he was shoved over. He's had to knock the ball out for a throw into Sheffield Wednesday. Birmingham Port Vale. Betty Glover.
Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1. 88 minutes gone. Carl John just sent a header over the bar for the leaders. The first time they've seen the ball in a long time. It's all been Birmingham. They are pushing for this. They don't have long though. Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1.
Full-time whistles are beginning to blow. Taking you back to Cambridge shortly to see what Sheffield Wednesday can do with this throw first of all. If they get a second, that might be enough for them for a famous win in the derby. A much unexpected win given everything surrounding this game tonight. Throw in towards the near post, headed away by Biol. Ball bounces twice here outside the penalty area. Shipston with the right-footed pass, looking for the run down the right from Sikera. Cleared out for another throw to Sheffield Wednesday. They'll take their time, so we'll take you to Cambridge. Sani.
League 2 Cambridge 3, Charlton Athletic of the Championship 1. So Cambridge go through thanks to goals from Brophy, Kouassi and Zach Bradshaw after Ibrahim Fuller had tried to pull one back on 44 minutes. Charlton ending with 10 men. Cambridge go through to round 3. Cambridge 3, Charlton 1.
League 2 beats Championship. Millwall have got a second against Coventry. That's 2-0. Long throw into the penalty area towards the near post. Okafor's back, sweeps it away with his right foot. Shipston trying to make a little dart into the penalty area. Really important challenge by Biol. Caught by Shipston. Shipston was teeing himself up for the shot and Biol got there just in time, and then Shipston's momentum took him into Biol, fouled him. Free kick Leeds. Paul Robinson.
But they've got it all to do now, Leeds United. They really have, but they've been the masters of their own downfall, if you like. They haven't made use of the possession that they've had. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's come on, but I don't remember mentioning his name.
No.
The service that he had, there's been a couple of early crosses that showed really good intent when he first came on. He's working between the width of the 18-yard box, but it's been so slow from Leeds in the build-up. They've given Sheffield Wednesday the opportunity to get in this shape.
Ball over the top here for Pirro. Space inside the penalty area. Cross to Calvert-Lewin. It's behind him. Calvert-Lewin lurking 3-4 yards out. If the cross was right there, he basically heads it into an empty net. Pirro couldn't find him. Here's Harrison. Quick throw from Leeds on the left-hand side. Dancing moves from Harrison. Takes it at speed. Down the left. Sliding block here by Sikera. Ball spins up in the air. Goes behind for a corner. Sikera is down. Looks like he might have a little bit of cramp. Stays down. What's the referee going to do? Delay the game, or are we going to keep going here? Sikera is sitting, waiting and watching. And I think the referee is going to say, play on. 14 minutes to go. Shock on the cards at Hillsborough. Corner is taken short. Harrison again. Cross comes in towards that far post. It's come off the back of Calvert-Lewin and it spins wide of the left-hand post, and it goes behind for another goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday. Liam Palmer is getting ready to come on, and Charlie McNeil, who I'm told was very impressive against Wrexham, particularly in the second half in the 2-2 draw on Saturday. Former Manchester United striker, scored a load of goals at youth level. Second season at the club for him, and he's getting ready to come on as well. And Liam Palmer has played just 466 times for this club. A little bit of experience in there,
I
Paul.
mean, that's the spirit at the moment that they need. He really is. Him and Barry Bannon are the figureheads in that dressing room, and that's what the manager's looking to now. Wants some experience on the pitch, leadership, to try and close this out to get the most unlikeliest of victories.
Kiefer Moore scored in the 92nd minute for Wrexham away at Preston. Some cup tied that tonight. All of these second round games in the EFL Cup. 4 more ties tomorrow. Our full commentary comes from Grimsby, Manchester United, in the company of Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton. Here, Sheffield Wednesday still lead Leeds by 1-0. Jamal Lowe's shot, squeezing through the legs of Carl Darlow, probably goes down as a Carl Darlow own goal. Squeaked over the line, gave Sheffield Wednesday the lead. They've won themselves a free kick. Red card at the Vitality Stadium now as well. Chris Wise.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse. The Bournemouth 2-0 down, and now Julian Araujo, their fullback's been sent off. Second yellow card, lunged in on Igor Thiago. I think Brentford are going through from here. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 2.
Full times then. Doncaster are through. Accrington 0, Doncaster 2. Accrington went down to 10 men late in the game. Doncaster have taken advantage, and Lincoln's late goal has got them through against Burton Albion. These teams are through to the third round of the League Cup. Long ball downfield by the goalkeeper Horvath for Sheffield Wednesday. Sikera leaps, can't keep it in play, and it goes out for a throw-in. Leeds are running out of time. They are 1-0 down here.
Time and ideas. I think the substitutions that the manager's made, you look at the players that he's brought onto the pitch, now you look at what he's got left. He will need these players on the pitch to up their game and to try and do something.
Oh, Bogle was making a good run there. Pass intercepted. Calvert-Lewin keeps the move going. Pirro spins. Pirouettes, if you like. Left-footed low pass cross here to Harrison, 25 yards out, drags the shot dreadfully. Ball could go anywhere. Sheffield Wednesday won it as a handball. Handball by Ugbo just as he tried to get away on the breakaway. Leeds have taken their free kick quickly. There is Bogle. Wide it goes to Gnonto. Bannon and Palmer waiting to come on and try and close this out for Sheffield Wednesday. Here's Ugbo again. Little pass down the left-hand side from him. Ball might break to 16-year-old Will Granger in the middle. Doesn't quite fall for him, and Leeds come back to the goalkeeper, Darlow. I
think when these two come on, they might up the average age of this Sheffield Wednesday team, mightn't they? I think every single player, nearly, by 1 or 2, is under the age of 20.
Yeah.
Just highlights what an incredible performance that it's been.
Yeah, now that Lowe is off, he was the 31-year-old. The goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, is 30, but otherwise the outfield players, blimey. Now then, Bogle, skills on the right-hand side. Danger for Sheffield Wednesday here. Bogle still going. Just losing his balance slightly in the penalty area, but does manage to get it through to Gnonto. Lays it back to Bogle. Bogle again looking for space. Closed down and tackled by Shipston. Skills from Gnonto. Back to goal. Clever ball. Bogle drives it in to the bottom corner and celebrates with the Leeds fans behind that goal. Former Sheffield United man breaks Sheffield Wednesday hearts tonight off the bench and has made a difference. 10 minutes to go in the cup tie, and it is Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds United 1.
What did we say about those wide areas? And that's exactly where the goals come from. Wilfred Gnonto's made such a difference when he came on. The interchange there with Bogle, really good 1-2s in and around the edge of the box, and from a tight angle Bogle just puts his laces through it. Nothing that the goalkeeper can do. It goes hard and low into the bottom right hand corner of his net. They put up a really good fight to this point, Sheffield Wednesday, but you just feel that Leeds have finally made that breakthrough.
Sheffield Wednesday fans not dispirited and not deterred. Here come the substitutions. Applause for Liam Palmer as he comes on, but it's more, I think, the applause for the young men who are coming off the field, who've given absolutely everything for Sheffield Wednesday tonight. Guy Sekera is one, Rio Shipston is another. Barnsley have beaten Rotherham 2-1 in the League Cup this evening. Full-time whistles blowing all the time will keep you across the goals. Late goal at Turf Moor. Julia Bold.
A very late goal. It's Burnley 2, Derby 1. We are in additional time. Oliver Zahn looks to have put Burnley into the next round of the Cup. It's Burnley 2, Derby 1.
Surprise result at Stoke tonight, Lee Blakeman.
Bradford deserved winners 3-0 against Stoke. Swan and Halliday scored in the first half. Lapsley got the other in the second. Bradford's unbeaten start continues. They're through to round 3. Stoke suffer their first defeat of the season. Final score, Stoke 0, Bradford 3.
Southampton through as well. Big win at Carrow Road. Norwich 0, Southampton 3. And Cardiff, who've made a good start to the season in League One, they have beaten Cheltenham by 3 goals to 0. Wigan have beaten Stockport 1-0. All these winners through to the third round of the EFL Cup. Straight to penalties tonight, Paul. If we're level after 90, we've got 8 minutes plus added time to go. It's 1-1.
I like that. I like the straight to penalties rule.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can't really remember an extra time that was that memorable. I think it adds to the drama, doesn't it? I think players get tired and fatigued during extra time. I think going to penalties, especially in the early rounds of the competitions, makes a lot of sense.
Daniel James stretching off, waiting to come on for Leeds. Full time at Bournemouth, Chris Wise.
2 wins from 3 for Keith Andrews. Brentford 2-0 winners at Bournemouth. Fabio Carvalho and Eagle Thiago with the goals in either half. Bournemouth finished the game with 10 men and exit at the second round of this competition, just as they did 12 months ago. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 2.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 1. We could be going to penalties here. Harrison's ball, though, finds Calvert-Lewin. 2 former Everton teammates. Calvert-Lewin's cutback comes all the way to Bogle on the half volley. Miles over the crossbar and behind for the goal kick. Going to penalties at Bromley, I believe. Emily Herbert.
Yes, it's finished Bromley 1, Wickham 1, and we're heading to penalties. Magnus Vestergaard struck inside 5 minutes for Wickham before Jude Arthurs levelled half an hour later for Bromley. It's been a terrific game end to end, but it will now be decided from the spot. And remember, Bromley knocked out Championship side Ipswich on penalties in round 1. Penalties to come then. Bromley 1, Wickham 1.
Thanks, Emily. Daniel James is on for Noah Okafor. Some of the big guns on here for Leeds. Still Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 1. 7 minutes to go. Swansea Plymouth, that is going to be a penalty shootout. That game has finished 1-1. The other ties tomorrow night, so our commentary is Grimsby against Manchester United, the 7:45 kickoffs. Everton at home to Mansfield, Fulham host Bristol City, and it's Oxford against Brighton. Barry Bannon on the ball for Sheffield Wednesday. They're attacking down the left. The pass does not find its intended target though, and it's a chance for Biol to try and clear, runs to his right, launches one down the right-hand touchline. The ball is volleyed back into the Leeds half. Longstaff heads it behind him, and Harrison sees a chance to go steaming forward for Leeds down the left. So Daniel James wide right now. Nyonto's come out to the left-hand side. Little squat figure, number 29 on his back. In these black Leeds shirts, Longstaff looking for runners, looking for options ahead of him. Pirro is one of them. Pirro looks ahead, then comes back to Stack. Stack side-footed low ball across to Bornau. Bornau finds Bogle, who has scored the crucial equaliser for Leeds tonight, and suddenly a burst of pace from Dan James. Low cross into the penalty area, nearly fell to Longstaff. 16-year-old Will Granger gets the ball caught underneath his right foot. Luckily for him, gets a second chance. That's better. Finds Ugbo. Ugbo back to Bannon. That is the man Sheffield Wednesday want on the ball. He plays it to the left-hand side, and Reece Johnson drives it forward. Granger with the flick on, and that only runs to Harrison. Paul Robinson.
It's almost anywhere will do now for Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it? Trying to get out of their own defensive third, but really struggling to retain any type of possession. Leeds are retaining the ball back, winning it back very quickly with a high press.
Sheffield Wednesday player down gives us a chance to get to St Andrews. Birmingham Port Vale tonight. Betty Glover.
Birmingham, who've been flying in the Championship this season, have lost 1-0 to Port Vale, who are yet to win in League One. The goal came in the first half, diving header from Headley. Birmingham had all the possession but struggled to do anything with it. The Port Vale fans are absolutely loving this. It's Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1 at full time.
Did the late winner do the business for Burnley? Julia Bold.
It did. It's finished Burnley 2, Derby 1. Aaron Ramsey opened the scoring on 4 minutes. The equaliser half an hour later from Bobby Clark, but it was Oliver Son with that winner in the 91st minute. Mike Trezor did all the work to set him up to avoid penalties. Derby still haven't beaten Burnley since 2007. It's finished Burnley 2, Derby 1.
And by my reckoning, still Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1. Let me just check that. I'm sort of speaking aloud, thinking aloud there. It's another one that could potentially be going to penalties. Sheffield Wednesday player still receiving treatment here. Scrolling down the video printer, yes indeed, Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1. Huddersfield from League One ahead for quite a while in that game, but Mark Guiu with the equaliser for Sunderland. I think you're up to date with everything so far. Reminder of the big news as well, that Celtic will not be playing in the league phase of the Champions League this season, beaten on penalties after a 0-0 draw away to Cairo. 0-0 in the first leg as well. Leeds looking for Dan James. Dan James muscled off the ball unfairly. Free kick for Leeds, 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area in the inside right. Just feels Sheffield Wednesday creaking a little here.
Well, there's a lot of pace in Dan James, isn't there? And these Sheffield Wednesday players, they really have put in a shift tonight. There's a lot of tired legs out there in blue and white shirts, and the last thing that they need is Dan James to be running at them. That's on 2 occasions now. He's got forward, he's been very direct, and he's won 2 free kicks in key positions.
Anton Stack is going to take this free kick, and he's lining up as if he's going to sort of float one towards the far post, looking for Pirro and Calvert-Lewin. I just wonder whether he might try and sneak one past Horvath. Sheffield Wednesday have the 3-man wall lined up inside their penalty area. 3 minutes plus added time, then it will be a penalty shootout if they're still level. It is into the far post, it's headed back across goal. Fuzia gets underneath it, and that is the old heave-ho from Liam Palmer. Big swing of the right foot, ball disappeared skyward above our view because the roof of the stand here blocked it. It's back down on the deck again, and here's Stack to Nyonto. Nyonto's on the halfway line. All he can see in front of him really are lines of blue and white shirts, and he decides not to try and dribble through the lot of them, although he does have the skills in the locker to do that sort of thing. But Leeds are being patient here. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 1. Biol the centre back. Sheffield Wednesday are backing off. Biol outside of his right foot prods it to Bornau. Bornau goes wide to Dan James. 1, 2, 3, 4 black Leeds shirts in that Sheffield Wednesday penalty area. James looking for the little 1-2 with Bogle. Bogle holds onto it on the right hand side for Leeds. Chased, hassled and harried. Keeps the ball though. Little pass to Bornau. Bornau to James. James to Bogle. Chips it back to James. Takes it in his stride. Then hooks that cross in towards the far post. Onto the roof of the net and behind for a goal kick for Sheffield Wednesday.
Again, it's the right hand side for Leeds United. Since Bogle's come on, he's been a real threat. Nyonto switching side. Dan James out there now. It's a real threat for Leeds United with the pace and the power that they've got. But we are nearing the end of this game, and Sheffield Wednesday, they deserve so much credit. Millwall
2, Coventry 1. Hadji Wright with a late penalty there to keep that tie alive. And the attendance tonight just flashed up on the big screen. Producer Rob Schofield spotted it. He scribbled it down. 7,800 tonight. I think something like 3,000 Leeds fans, Paul. So that's going to be just under 5,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans tonight.
Listen, it's been a show of solidarity. Regardless, I understand a lot of fans will be split and torn between supporting the team and standing up for what they believe. And I think they've made a real statement in both ways this evening.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think even though some of them have made different decisions tonight, I think the fans themselves understand each other's decisions, and it does feel very together at the moment. And there's that name spelt out in the seats in the stand opposite, Shansiri. That is the man they want to sell this football club to try and help it survive. There is a long road ahead for Sheffield Wednesday, but goodness me, what an effort against Wrexham on Saturday to come back from 2 goals down. And tonight, this team of teenagers still 1-1 with Leeds United and held the lead for a long time. We're in the 90th minute of the game now. 5 Live and BBC Sounds League Cup drama. James dribbling again. That is a really obvious pullback by Reece Johnson. Got to get booked for that. Is that the first yellow card of the game?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is, but there's no surprises. Dan James is so quick and direct, and he caused them so many problems. And like I said, the fatigue that will be kicking in now for these young players. I mean, it's very, very difficult making your debut as an individual in the first team, but actually when there's a group of you together, I can't really overplay what a performance it's been by this group of players.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding from Sheffield Wednesday tonight. It's 1-1. They've conceded the late free kick. Reece Johnson has been booked. Anton Stack, the German, is standing there for Leeds. Will Calvert-Lewin potentially scoring his debut? Low ball in. Calvert-Lewin's there. It's wide. Chance from 5 yards out. It sort of hit his left boot. Didn't really have time to do anything with it, and has stabbed it wide of that left-hand post.
How has he missed? How has he missed? What a lovely ball from Anton Stack, in and around the defensive line, in and around the back. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he can be no more than 3 or 4 yards from goal. He's put his left foot on it, and instead of opening his foot up and just letting the ball hit his foot and go into the goal, he's kept his foot stiff. It was straight, and it's gone wide of the near post. What an opportunity for Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
5 minutes of added time. We've played a minute of that. Sheffield Wednesday 4 minutes away from a penalty shootout. All the pressure will be on Leeds in that shootout. Where will those be taken, those penalties, boys? There's still a choice. I mean, could we have them in front of that would be...
There's potential to be in front of an empty stand, isn't there?
In front of an empty stand.
Absolutely, potential of being in front of an empty stand.
Yeah.
Can't believe that opportunity that Dominic Calvert-Lewin... I mean, we don't have a monitor here, so we're not privy to any replays, but at first glance, that looks a really bad miss, a clear-cut chance.
Yeah, very close to goal. Great ball in from Stack. James speeding into the penalty area, looks for the cutback, crosses block, Longstaff battles for it, edge of the box. Harrison wants it here, takes a touch. Blue and white shirted players in his way, runs into the area, backs off. Nyonto with a little trick, showed too much of it to Granger. Granger tackles him, Granger's then tackled by Longstaff. 3 minutes to play. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds United 1. Sunderland Huddersfield also heading towards a penalty shootout. League 2 Cambridge have knocked Charlton out. League 2 Cambridge have beaten Championship Charlton tonight in the League Cup. League 1 Port Vale have knocked Birmingham out. Birmingham 0, Port Vale 1. It finished. The ball has gone behind for a Sheffield Wednesday goal kick, and John Murray might get his trip to the Arctic Circle. Bodo Glimt have lost to Sturm Graz tonight 2-1, but Bodo Glimt wins 6-2 on aggregate. They're through to the league phase.
He'll enjoy that, John, won't he? Has he pulled rank this time, has he?
He will love it, honestly. He will love it. I loved it. We loved it, didn't we, Paul? That was a fantastic trip. Just a very different part of the world, wasn't it?
And it was nice to see a different, resilient Tottenham performance as well.
Very different Tottenham performance that night that took them on to winning that trophy last season. Nyonto with a high foot there, trying to backheel a ball above his right shoulder. Emery was brave, nearly took a boot in the head. Sheffield Wednesday get the free kick. Right, full time at Sunderland. Chris Coles.
Penalties beckon. Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1. Castledean's fine volley for Huddersfield in the first half. Incessant Sunderland pressure after the break. Mark Guiu finally heading in an equaliser with 6 minutes to play. Sunderland 1, Huddersfield 1. Penalties to come.
Right, penalties there. It's going to be penalties here in a couple of minutes' time. Beale chests the ball down. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 1. Harrison under a bit of pressure here. Close to his his own penalty area, does well. Little 1-2 with Bijol. Bijol points to Harrison and says you need to play that ball across the face of the penalty area. Harrison decides against that, probably wisely so, and Sheffield Wednesday back off, and then Harrison floats the longer ball, looking for the pace of Gnonto down the left-hand side. Gnonto's first time ball. Calvert-Lewin's there. Horvath, what an amazing save. The two players almost met each other and the ball at the same time. Horvath made himself big and makes the crucial block.
Brave, superb piece of goalkeeping from Ethan Horvath there. He's just kept his side in the game at the vital moment. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked for all the world he was going to tap it into the net, but a brilliant diving save from the goalkeeper.
Here's Pirro, edge of the penalty area. Sheffield Wednesday have a minute to survive here. Tired legs, and that ball is just thumped forward. No Sheffield Wednesday player there to chase. Carl Darlow comes miles out of his penalty area and collects it for Leeds. Swansea are through to the third round of the EFL Cup. They've beaten Plymouth on penalties 5-3. Ball into the Sheffield Wednesday box. James looks for the flicks. Calvert-Lewin is nearly there again. Ball loose on the goal line. Calvert-Lewin couldn't get the touch. Sheffield Wednesday have got it away. The two crosses that Stack played and then Gnonto played for Calvert-Lewin, he'll be licking his lips at those if he gets more of those for Leeds.
You can't help but think that a fully fit, firing Dominic Calvert-Lewin would have scored at least one of those. I mean, the first one was a real glaring miss. The second one was a wonderful block from the goalkeeper, so you got to give him a lot of credit. And there again, he's just had another opportunity. He's not been involved in much of the build-up play, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he's had certainly 3 wonderful chances where he could have won this game for Leeds.
Throw in for Sheffield Wednesday. Referee Robert Jones is giving them the hurry up. 10 seconds away from a penalty shootout against Premier League Leeds United, when I don't think anyone gave them a chance this evening. When the team sheets went in and when we knew what the atmosphere was going to be like. This grand old stadium practically empty. Just under 8,000 in here, but we've seen some drama in the second half as well. Leeds attacking at the moment. Ball still in play in the Sheffield Wednesday half. Liam Palmer, all his experience, all his strength, holds off Gnonto. Sheffield Wednesday get the throw.
There's some fight, determination and desire. It's not been pretty at times from Sheffield Wednesday, but the organisation, the ruggedness, the togetherness that they've showed is looking like they're going to take Leeds United from the Premier League all the way to a penalty shootout. And you wouldn't have thought it when the team sheets came out this evening.
Throw in down the line. Robert Jones blows the full-time whistle, and it will be penalties tonight to decide which of Sheffield Wednesday or Leeds United go through to the third round of the Carabao Cup. What an effort from those Sheffield Wednesday players. Plenty of them on debuts, most of them teenagers. No one really gave them a chance. They held the lead for a long time. Jayden Bogle eventually got the equaliser, but now it's a penalty shootout, and Sheffield Wednesday at home may well fancy their chances. Their goalkeeper Horvath making some fabulous saves in that second half. After 90 minutes, Kelly Cates, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds United 1.
Alistair Bruce Ball, Paul Robinson back with you for penalties in that game between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United. It's already gone to penalties. Bromley have taken Wycombe Wanderers to penalties. Let's check in with Emily Herbert.
And Bromley have just lost the penalty shootout. Will Hondermark has just clipped the crossbar with his last penalty. We're in sudden death, but it is Wycombe Wanderers who will go through on penalties. It could have gone either way. It was a terrific game end to end. It finished 1-1, but Wycombe have come out on top in the penalty shootout. They will advance to the third round of the Carabao Cup on penalties.
Thank you very much for that, Emily. They were nearly there, Bromley, but Wycombe, as Emily was telling us, are through. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's happened. But Joby McAnuff has been watching that game between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United. And as Ali and Paul have been saying, Joby, there's a lot in that performance for Sheffield Wednesday and those young players particularly to be proud of.
Oh, absolutely, Kelly. I mean, there's been such negativity around that football club for so long now, but they did it in the last round with a great performance and managed to get through then on penalties. But today was a completely different proposition. You know, you're talking about top level players. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, we've mentioned how young the starting lineup was. They're bringing a 16-year-old on, an 18-year-old on to try and get themselves through those last few minutes. Leeds are bringing on proper Premier League players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a fantastic opportunity, so just massive credit to all those players. What a shift they've put in. As you say, should be absolutely proud of themselves.
Let's check in on what's happening at Sunderland. That's gone to a penalty shootout against Huddersfield. Chris Coles.
And we've just seen the first penalty converted by Huddersfield. Herbie Kane, who came on very late, presumably because he was due to take the first penalty, and he converted into the bottom corner. So one penalty taken. Huddersfield lead 1-0. Sunderland about to take their first.
Paul Robinson, they were just about to get penalties underway. I think the referee is just doing the coin toss with the captains. When you look at the performances of the two keepers, who do you think is going to be more confident going into this one?
Well, I think the important thing about trying to read body language and a coin toss from a great distance at the back of the main stand, it looks to me like the penalties are going to be taken in front of the empty stand away to our right, which is obviously an advantage if Leeds were taken in front of their own fans. Carl Darlow not played particularly well, was culpable for the goal that he conceded, but he's got a chance to atone for that. But Horvath has been excellent tonight. He's made some really good blocks. He'll certainly be going into the penalty shootout full of confidence. But listen, like I've said before, they're more a lottery than they've ever been, because the amount of work that the goalkeepers can do, the homework, the studying of videos, the strikers, the defenders, whoever's coming up to take the penalties, know that the goalkeepers know where they like to go. So the goalie knows where he wants to go, and he knows the goalie knows. So now it's more of a mind game than there's ever been. It's about the quality of the strike and handling the pressure, because no matter how many times you practice penalties, you cannot recreate the pressure inside a stadium.
So Paul, I was just going to ask then, do you take more confidence if you've had a good 90 minutes or 120 minutes, as it often is, going into a penalty shootout, or does it not really make any difference?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's times as a goalkeeper, you have good and bad days in the office, just like everyone does at work. Sometimes you see the ball the size of a beach ball and you think it's easy. Other days it's like a golf ball flying past you and you can't get anywhere near it. So absolutely, when you're full of confidence, it definitely is an advantage.
It's going to be very interesting to watch this one in front of that empty stand, Joby.
Yeah, of course, and again, that's just one of those situations. Unfortunately, tonight, the fans not sort of turning up, and rightfully so from their perspective, but not being able to witness that great performance. But hopefully now there'll be something to cheer about.
Barry Bannon, first to go for Sheffield Wednesday in front of the empty Kop against Carl Darlow. Runs on the spot, left-footed penalty right into the bottom corner. I definitely expected that. Sheffield Wednesday take first and score first, 1-0.
Really good, well-taken penalty. Like I said, you can't recreate pressure, and that man knows exactly what it's like to be in that situation. The talisman leader, short run up, very quick, very precise, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way.
Leeds have had a penalty in the Premier League this season. It was taken and scored by Lucas Metcher. He was substituted in the game. Joel Pirro likes to take a penalty. He is first up for Leeds. The game finished 1-1 at Hillsborough. Bizarre scenario. Penalties being taken in front of the empty Kop. Here's Pirro, tall man for Leeds. Oh, what a save! Horvath away to his left-hand side, gets right. It was struck with power, and Pirro doesn't find the target, and Sheffield Wednesday have the advantage.
That's a really good save from Ethan Horvath. Decently struck penalty from Joel Pirro, left footer, goes to the goalkeeper's left, whips it away from him with pace and power. It's at a decent height for the goalkeeper, who guesses right, makes a good strong save.
Ike Ugbo comes forward for Sheffield Wednesday. Ethan Horvath is the emergency loan signing in goal at the moment for Sheffield Wednesday. He's on loan from Cardiff. Regular number one Pierce Charles out with a shoulder injury, and Horvath has made the early crucial save. Here's Ugbo. Can he score for Sheffield Wednesday? Great penalty! Sends Darlow the wrong way. That was struck with real confidence, opened his body and side-footed it into the opposite top corner. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's up next.
Dancing along his line there, Carl Darlow. One thing that I've noticed with both goalkeepers, they're advancing ever so slightly off their line. Even Horvath, when he made that save, we've got no VAR in play here tonight, so the referee's relying on his assistant on the touchline. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has to score.
Well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin on his debut, great chance in the latter stages of the second half to win this tie. Couple of good chances, couldn't take them. Very short run up. Regular penalty taker for Everton in his time. Calvert-Lewin takes a deep breath. Here he comes over the bar and into those empty seats behind the goal, and incredibly Sheffield Wednesday lead 2-0 in the shootout.
Oh, it's a woeful penalty. It really is a poor penalty from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Listen, you can say poor penalty, any penalty that doesn't hit the back of the net's poor, but that one, the way that he struck it, the execution, there was no real conviction, and that's gone 25, 30 rows back. The ball boys still haven't got that ball back yet.
Low on practice, low on form, low on confidence. Dominic Calvert-Lewin welcomed back to the Leeds group by his teammates. What an opportunity for Sheffield Wednesday. And as we said at full time, I don't think anyone really gave them a chance tonight. 33-year-old Liam Palmer, who's been with the club since he was 7 years old, sends Darlow the wrong way. Sheffield Wednesday score 3 out of 3. Leeds have to score.
There's just a feeling inside this stadium, isn't there, that something special's about to happen. Really confident by Liam Palmer. Knew exactly where he's going, never looked up, sent Darlow the wrong way. He's not gone the right way for one yet, Darlow. Palmer with his right foot low and hard into the bottom left-hand corner as he looks.
So Sean Longstaff misses this. Sheffield Wednesday will knock Leeds out of the League Cup in front of an empty Kop. Here comes Longstaff. Horvath saved it! Sheffield Wednesday have done it! The team of teenagers, with the stadium practically empty tonight and the club effectively in disarray, have somehow knocked Leeds out of the League Cup. The Sheffield Wednesday players surround their on-loan goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, who's made 2 wonderful saves from Joel Pirro and Sean Longstaff. And what an incredible performance from the teenagers of Sheffield Wednesday. And it tells you everything about the spirit and the unity and the bond between the players and the fans at this football club. They will fight on and they win this cup tie 3-0 on penalties.
What a story, what a performance, and what a story for these young Sheffield Wednesday players. They took Leeds United all the way, a tie at full time, and then on penalties, when you need the experience of Bannon, Palmer, they stepped up and they didn't disappoint. There was just a feeling, a really hazy awe inside the stadium tonight. And it's strange, the few Sheffield Wednesday fans that are here tonight, they've witnessed something really, really special. A togetherness, a unity. The problem is Leeds United will get all the headlines for how poor they were. They didn't win a game that they should have won. The players that they had out, they were playing against a weakened Sheffield Wednesday side. The story will be Leeds United didn't perform, they lost in a certain amount. But Sheffield Wednesday deserve all the headlines tonight for the way they played.
And do you know what, Paul? Before the game, I felt the result and the performance and the football and the match actually didn't really matter, because it was all about Sheffield Wednesday's fans making the points and continuing the fight and sort of living this day-to-day existence. But actually, when you think about what that performance and that result will do for this group of players, for these fans going forward, Swansea next on Saturday, massive.
But that matters now. That matters hugely. Before the game, it was a free hit for them. You look at the team, everyone, almost 8 teenagers in the team, an incredibly young side, an incredible story surrounding this club at the moment. A lot of the supporters decided not to come to the stadium tonight, but actually stood in unity with the supporters that did. There was a lot of people torn, deciding whether they should or shouldn't come, different reasons. They finally took a stance and didn't want the owner and the club to be run the way it was. The supporters are standing together, the players are standing together, and that performance tonight was the epitome of togetherness.
Sheffield Wednesday players, the youngsters on the pitch in the blue and white shirts, thrown into an unbelievably difficult situation tonight, and they've come through it. 1-1 after 90 minutes. Fabulous penalties taken by Bannon, Ugbo and Liam Palmer, and heroics from the goalkeeper Ethan Horvath. What a night for Sheffield Wednesday. They're through. They've beaten Leeds 3-0 on penalties.